What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Superior Adventures Guild. I am super stoked because I get to play in a game tonight with all these wonderful people, and Paul is going to run it. And on top of all that beautiful news, this is House of Eidolons. This is a game that Paul and Josh Gunvold created. They used their creative powers and built this game, crafted the setting, and we're going to fuck around inside of it. And we're going to try to break it and just twist it around and pull it apart and put it back together in all kinds of different ways. I'm very, very excited. I am beyond thrilled to be able to play this game and host this game. So, Paul, thank you very much. Everybody who's here in the chat, thank you for being here and checking this out. I think you're really going to like this game. I know you're going to love this cast of people. We're going to go around the virtual tabletop here and have these beautiful people introduce themselves to you. Some of them you know, some of them you've seen before, some might be new to you. Help me welcome them to Guild Superior. You guys, thank you for being here. I would love to go around the table here and have you introduce yourself. And I would love to start first with Tara. Let's start with Tara.
Is it because I'm the woman?
Ladies first.
Okay. Hi, my name's Tara. I am on all the socials as Your Know Me or Your Know Me Too, so you can check me out on all of the socials that way. My email is the same, so if you want to get a hold of me or give me some ideas of what you have thoughts on this game, that would be great. Also, I'm in love with this game, so I hope you enjoy it as much as I do.
Heck yeah. Glad to have you back, Tara. You are our Know Me through and through. So thank you. Let's jump over to JD next. JD, welcome back. Great to have you back on Guild Superior.
Thank you, Dave. I'm thrilled to be back. It's been quite a while. Hi, I am JD. My pronouns are he, they, and you can find me on the internet everywhere at JD Not Jason Dean. And cyberpunk and heisting are my two favorite things. And Paul and Josh managed to combine them, and I could not be more excited to get to experience this.
So happy to have you back and get to play in this game with you. Let's jump over next to Alan Henry. Welcome back, sir.
Hi, thanks for having me. Hi, I'm Alan Henry. I'm a thoroughly strange person. You may have seen me on previous Guild Superior games like Tales from the Loop or the Carbon game, which was another cyberpunk sci-fi dystopian nonsense game that we played. Yeah, you might have seen me around as either the Cocaine Bear or King Kong in the Scar King. I pretend to be monsters and superheroes and little Christmas elves and all sorts for a job. And it's weird, and I really love it. So yeah, I'm stoked to be here. This is super fun.
Your weirdness qualifies you at the highest levels for hanging out with us, my friend. So thank you for being here. It's just a thrill. And also from far, far away, a galaxy far, far away, you might say, Josh, welcome back, my friend. That beard, I am so jealous. It's beautiful. It's glorious.
I'd lend it to you if I could, Dave. Hey, I'm Josh. I am a giant nerd. That's a joke that works better in person. I have been a narrative nerd for most of my life, and I've been lucky enough to play in the Tales from the Loop game with Alan and Dave, which after we finish streaming, I thoroughly recommend everybody go and check out. I believe it's on the Guild Superior YouTube channel, right?
Indeed it is, sir.
Keep everybody connecting to all of the different channels. That's what we're doing here. And I'm really looking forward to getting stuck into some sci-fi nonsense tonight. Like, let's get her done.
Heck yeah. You know, and that kind of, when you say you're a giant nerd, that made me think of if we could get these two Joshes together and side by side, we would have ourselves some serious Josh. The collective Josh, they're big people and we love them very much. And speaking of which, we should say producing tonight, who's not on screen, but definitely behind the scenes, pushing buttons, turning dials, keeping us on track for all the good stuff, is our good buddy Josh Gunvald. I'm going to drop some info about Josh also in the chat. So Josh, thank you very much for taking the reins on this game and being the stream producer. And finally, last but not least, Penburrow, Paul. So glad that we connected. So glad that we've been able to hone this friendship and get this game on the stream. Welcome, my friend.
Hey, thank you for having me. Super stoked to share this creation that me and Josh have been working on for over 2 years now. Yeah, and super stoked. I remember coming across your channel when Dungeon Mister Ty was doing Carbon with you all, and was like, oh my gosh, Minnesotans playing Cyberpunk. These are my people. Let's connect. So yeah, just really excited to be here. And this is my first stream, I think, on Guild Superior in general. So thanks everybody for joining. Thanks, just a little call out to Scottish Jeff, who along with with Nomi, joined us for our very first playthrough of this game with Guild Superior in person at GuildCon. So yeah, just thank you to both of you guys. And yeah, is that all for callouts? Should we?
Yeah, unless you have any special callouts, yeah, let's go for it.
I just want to call out all of and get this train rolling. House of Eidolons, as JD mentioned, is a cyberpunk heist-like TTRPG, and so it's in 2198. Actually, this game technically is starting in 2199 in January at the turn of the new year, but it takes place, typical cyberpunk setting. You've got corporations calling the shot behind the government. And you've got syndicates, mega syndicates running kind of in all the negative space that the corporations won't fill. And in between them, you have these houses of Eidolons, these sort of elite mercenary guilds running all of the shadow work for the highest bidder and contractors. And that's who our team is today. So without further ado, why don't we get started? Two stars flicker to life in the deep dark of the Northern Union wilderness, their lights expanding outward with brilliance. A gale force rush of air, heat, smearing away 100,000 shadow trees like ink into the night. And carried upon it the agonizing roar of oblivion cascading into descending granular synthesis. There, in the dark of plunge, in the womb of Omni-N, hidden away in the filtered prescient mapping algorithm, his mind hears echoes of mechanical heartbeats, sees the flickering images of derelict cottage collapsing under synthetic skies, and probes the corners of a creaking staircase leading deeper still. And in that still darkness he finds it, formulates it into words. Terrifying words of madness. A god is born. The net diver opens his eyes, his body naked and submerged in a bathtub full of hot water, once ice. Surrounding him are dozens of overlay screens broadcasting the news, reports, and program executing various nefarious functions. But in all of them, the words, the code, it's garbled, glitching incoherently. His eyes trace the noise, looking for patterns, and in the chaos he finds it, one word over and over again. Tartarus. We go now to the House of Weeping Gomorrah, the first founding house of all of the houses of Eidolons. It is chic. It is classic. Red velvet carpets, red velvet couches, and a long hall from the entranceway to a classic 1930s bar. Behind the bar, a man, pyramid mustache, neat in his vest, shines a glass, ready to pour a drink. And in through the door enters first Octavius. JD, would you like to describe your character to us as you enter into the bar?
I would love to. Octavius is medium height, about 5'10". He is slender, and his hair is short and a purple that is almost a mixture of red and black. And he is dressed as befitting the setting in a nice button-down shirt, slacks, a suit jacket. He wants to look his best as he approaches the bar with comfort and ease.
Good evening, sir. It is good to see you again.
It's good to see you again as well.
The bartender lifts up the glass, sets it before Octavius. And what will we be drinking this evening?
You know, I think this evening calls for some red wine.
Excellent. Classic. He removes the glass, it's not befitting red wine, and pulls out another one from behind the bar and sets it before Octavius and slowly pours a glass of red wine. And as he does, in enters Oaken May. Nomi, would you describe your character for us?
Oh, Terry, you are muted.
Sure, I'll tell you about her. So Oaken May is a short woman. She's about 5'8". She does have silver hair and one black eye, one purple eye. She is very unsure of herself and has memory issues. She just needs the money to try and get to her goal of finding herself out.
And as Oaken May approaches the countertop, she sees the other character, Octavius, at the bar. For a moment, their eyes meet. Almost recognition, perhaps, but not quite. Maybe just familiar faces. And then Oaken sits down, and the bartender approaches Oaken. And to you, madame, what would you like tonight?
I believe a shot of whiskey straight would be great.
Whiskey neat. Coming right up. Again, he begins to pour the glass, and in enters a more rough sort of character, Corvo. Josh, would you introduce your character?
Corvo stands at about 6'3", 6'4", depending on the boots he's wearing. He's built like a fridge, with a shock of red hair, and his beard matches it. Shaved in tight at the sides, and the top's not long enough to grab hold of if you got close enough. He's incredibly utilitarian dressed. He's got a flak vest on top, and he's got cargo pants. The pockets look stretched, but currently fairly empty. And he moves like he's used to carrying more weight. There seems to be a bounce in his step that he looks ever so slightly uncomfortable with. As he steps up to the bar, he spots Octavian and Oaken and notes their faces, but nothing more.
And as he pulls up a seat, and as the bartender finishes pouring the whiskey for Oaken, he turns, about to say something to Corvo, when the door again swings open. And Gideon steps in. Alan.
Gideon is a tall, slender man with dark hair and a brown Stetson on his head. He's found his nicest shirt and some suspenders, because he knows that this evening is a big deal, and walks with his thumbs tucked into his large belt buckle. And as he walks, there's the familiar clink clink of a metal, like Cuban heeled boot as he walks in. And first he spots Oaken, and as he arrives at the bar, he gives Oaken a little nod. There's me. And is about to continue saying something when he recognizes Corvo, And there's a moment where like Gideon's face gets real icy for a moment, and then he just sits back down at the bar and he's like, "Oh, good to see you again, Slick."
It's been a while.
Yeah. Look at you.
And the bartender slides in. And what can I get you two gentlemen?
You go first, big man. What you get?
Nothing complicated. Just a beer to be going for me.
Will do.
What's the dinner you having?
I think I'll follow Miss May over there and have a nice whiskey if you don't mind.
Absolutely. As he leans down behind the countertop to grab a beer, all of a sudden there's no more seats. There's only 4 stools here. But then all of a sudden, to the left of where Gideon sits down, the air flickers and the overlay comes on. The overlay is like augmented reality, and a screen appears, and there's a figure in the screen suddenly materializing, and it is Wyvern. Dave, how would you describe yourself?
Yeah, so as that panel opens and that screen enlarges, and he like steps through in this very sort of like 3-dimensional effect. You see this very tall individual wearing this sort of long plaid trench coat, and this strange, well, not strange, but like a Sherlock Holmes sort of hat matching the overcoat, and the head is this 8-bit yellow-skinned dragon head. As he sort of like looks around, he goes, "Oh no, that's not right. Sorry," and he snaps his finger, and then he's wearing this these board shorts and a Hawaiian shirt, and he's got this sort of like red sort of high top hairdo with the side shaved, and sort of these blue sort of flames painted on the sides of his face. He's like, "Okay, that's better. What did I miss? Did I miss anything? Do we got a job? Are we gonna get paid? What's going on? Hey guys."
Whoa! Slow down, Burn. Slow down. You right on.
Sorry.
Time.
Okay, good. I thought I was running late. You know me. Time is always seemed to be of the essence.
Yes, indeed. And now, I know most of you are familiar with each other, but we now have a very important mission. You all know the bartender. His name is Vaudeville, and here at House of Weeping Gamora, Vaudeville is your handler. Every team comes into the bar, and here is where the mission is delivered. And as he sets out and pours the last glass of whiskey, he sets down in front of you all a single tiny micro drive. Think of like a USB, but capable of carrying a lot more information. Your mission is simple. Deliver a microdrive to the central system of Samsara Medical's nearly completed research and development facility in Colombia. But Eidolons, make no mistake, simple does not mean easy. Quite the opposite, I'm afraid. This mission is going to be one son of a bitch to pull off. You see, earlier this year, a high-ranking director of Samsara Medical, one Numa Chakrabarti, met with the top-ranking military commander of the Colombian State's military, Carmine Moreno. In the Berlin Hotel of Der Prinz, the two ironed out a deal for the rapid construction of the state-of-the-art facility for this mega-corporation. More surprisingly than an agreement to construct yet another R&D facility is Samsara Medical's offer to Akatori Group to form a joint R&D division to work on an undisclosed project together in said facility. Though the two megacorporations are not rivals per se, it's rare to see megacorporations collaborating on anything, being mega and all. Regardless, this piqued the interest of our client, the infamous net diver known as Net Zero, who through their own means discovered the intent of the project. Information that unfortunately they are not willing to share with the House or anyone else for that matter. They do, however, want to pay premium for a skilled team to infiltrate the facility before it is completed, and deliver a single microdrive to the central core server. What's on the microdrive? He taps the microdrive on the countertop. You might ask? Unfortunately, that is not for you to know or concern yourself with. Your job is as simple as plugging it in and letting it do its work. As always, the House has done some preliminary work to assist the team in the successful execution of the mission. In our information gathering and analysis, we have come to the conclusion that several aspects of this mission make it easily high risk, and that will need to be dealt with before the actual execution takes place. Firstly, a ludicrous amount of money has been fronted for the construction of this facility, both in quality and quantity of materials and technology, but also in expedited construction. As such, the facility will be state-of-the-art and like nothing else out there. Unfortunately, that means the layout of the facility will not be standard or predictable. Going in blind to a facility of this caliber would guarantee mission failure, so it is critical that your team secure the facility schematics beforehand. Again, unfortunately, the schematics are singularly and securely held by the prestigious Helmont architecture firm in Berlin, who both developed the structure and executed its general contracting. So the logical first move for the team will be to procure the schematics for Helmont's HQ in Berlin, so that you may chart a successful execution plan throughout the facility. Secondly, whatever the joint R&D facility initiative is between Samsara Medical and Akatori Group, they have spared no coin in hiring out one of the best security outfits from Apex Security to lock down the facility tight. The security team is slated to be on site 1.5 months before the operational date. Usually, you would want to secure the mission before then, but our client has made it clear that the central core server will not be correctly calibrated until 2 weeks from the operational date, meaning the operation must occur after on-site security are in place. Dealing with a well-established on-site security outfit of this caliber would be no joke, and so it is strongly advised that the Eidolon team take the security team, namely their commander, out of the equation before on-site deployment. Once the schematics to the facility are secured and the security detail dealt with, the team will be freed up to execute the mission on the premises. There will be security, just not the best ones out there, and you will have the advantage of knowing the facility like the back of your hands. From this point, it will be up to the team to determine the execution plan, and conduct yourselves accordingly to reach the central core server, plant the drive, and get out. Are there any initial questions before I proceed to the first step of pulling off this mission, securing the structure's schematics? And he gestures to the Eidolon sitting at the table. I will also note, inside of the game, in the journals now, you can look at that debriefing, in case you need to read over a few things.
I mean, it all seems pretty straightforward, right? But did I hear you right? You said Samsara Medical, yeah?
That is correct. Samsara Medical, in cooperation with Akatori Group.
Kind of look over at Gideon. Interesting developments here, huh?
Do we have any
You're muted, Gideon.
No, I was just saying they just can't seem to keep their fingers out of it, can they, Vern?
No. This time maybe we're gonna close the cookie jar on them, no?
That'd be nice. Yeah, they got a lot to answer for.
But of course we're professionals, so we're not gonna make it personal, right? But if we could wreak havoc, I mean, that's kind of why we bring Corvo along.
Do we have any restrictions on the amount of havoc that we're wreaking?
Restrictions are purely your decision. Knowing that you are going against a mega corporation, Apex Security, and enough havoc in the amount of, say, Neon Hades, then yes, perhaps you might pull in Talos Judicial, which would not be ideal, I would think.
No. We don't want that.
So we can make a mix, but we don't make too much of a mix. Is what you're saying.
That is what is advised, yes.
Do we have the statistics on Apex Security's response times?
At the R&D facility, I'm afraid not. However, their team is almost guaranteedly to be one of the best they have. We'll have more specifics on the Apex Security team soon for all of you, as far as the members, especially the commander. However, getting that information has been a little bit tricky. Now,
I mean, we're in Budapest right now. How are we getting to Berlin? That's a long way away.
probably by jet. You should be there relatively quickly.
Oh,
A house
Company
will
jet?
cover. Of course, on the house.
That should live up to your lifestyle request, shouldn't it, Octavius? Private jet. I have to say, you are looking very dapper tonight.
Thank you, Wyvern. You are looking like yourself, and that is, as always, delightful to see.
Thank you so much.
yeah, I had to dig around and I found my nicest shirt. It's nice. This one has the least amount of blood on it.
It's a good one, Gideon. It looks good on you, as do those suspenders.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's I had to ask Queenie for some advice. And she was, she gave me a lot of pointers on how to present myself better.
And those boots, incredible.
You know what? Yeah, hey, thank you. I appreciate that. This was my idea, and they feel more comfortable that way. So that means a lot. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Well, it is great to see you all getting along perfectly well. Shall I go on to talk about infiltration of Helmont architecture to get the schematics?
I mean, are we all getting along? I mean, Gideon and Corvo, y'all are good, right? I mean, we're not going to get into any problems like last time.
Oh, I've always appreciated his taste for loud boots. Makes it easier to get out of the way when he's shooting.
He's not wrong. And I mean, business is business, and I appreciate just how much of a professional Corvo is. We both had a job to do, and we stuck to the job. And I mean, look, all that scarring from that shotgun blast, man, I got these cool new tattoos, so I don't mind.
To be fair, I don't mind either. Whatever it was that you'd laced that bullet with hit me here, and he pulls down the collar of his shirt, and there's a huge starburst scar up his neck. He says, gave me an opportunity to get some new toys, actually. And he grabs one of the empty shot glasses and just spits into it, and you can see that it's like a bright green spit, and you hear a sizzling from the leftover liquid in the glass.
Vaudeville is a little taken back. He seems rather aghast that his shot glass is sizzling.
Look, don't worry about it, Vaudeville. If you just put some baking soda in there, it'll neutralize it right out. But I wouldn't recommend putting your finger in there.
He takes it. Yes, baking soda. And he drops it into the wastebasket behind the counter.
Which also begins to sizzle.
That's a brave choice.
For some reason, I feel like I know you guys, but... And I know, Gideon, you said my last name, which is very unusual for people to call me, but,
Well,
I guess...
you were at the ranch for a while. Yeah, you know.
I'll have to ponder on that. Do you want to sync our communication systems now or after we reach Berlin?
I mean,
No reason to wait.
We'll synchronize watches, clear.
Now, before you head off to Berlin, let me fill you in on the mission. And thankfully, the client, Net Zero, is offering rewards for every stage of this mission. Not just at the very end. Your first mission is to infiltrate Helmont architecture and secure the schematic blueprints to the Samsara Medical's R&D facility. The reward for this will be 3,500 crypt each, as well as, of course, influence. There's also Helmont Architecture is a renowned architecture firm and a favorite of the mega corporations, especially when it comes to black site design. You likely have not heard much about them, if you have, and they keep it that way. Their specialty is unique, black site design, and they are possibly the world's leader in such. Unsurprisingly, they are who Samsara Medical turned to for the construction of their Colombian R&D facility. And due to the sensitive nature of Helmont's architecture work, they conduct all of their planning by strictly analog means, so that there is never a trace of the black site design floating somewhere out in Omnium. In addition, they keep only 2 copies of the design to ensure confidentiality. 1 copy will be on the construction site, and it is too risky to try and infiltrate the mission site beforehand to secure this copy. 1 mistake and the entire mission would be jeopardized, which leaves only the original copy at Helmont's HQ in Berlin. Helmont Architecture's HQ is located on the 23rd floor of the Grossheisen Tower in downtown Berlin. The architecture firm rents and operates out of the 23rd floor. You will need to infiltrate the tower, reach the floor, and secure the physical papers that contain the blueprints of Samsara Medical's R&D facility. The house has taken it upon itself to provide an initial assessment of the tower to aid in the successful execution of the mission. Firstly, it is important to understand that Grossheisen Tower is located in the downtown skyscraper district of Berlin, roughly 6 blocks from Central Judicial. So needless to say, a violent entrance is ill-advised. He glances over towards Corvo. And should things get out of control, you should have a well-planned escape route ready. Second, the tower is home to many similar companies, legal firms, and banks, all serving high-profile clientele. So unsurprisingly, the security of the tower, both physical and digital, is certainly top-notch and run by Apex Security. And thirdly, Helmont operates out of the location 7 days a week, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. It is advised to plan for your infiltration during non-working hours to limit risk, but the house will leave such decisions up to you and the plans you put in place. Finally, there are a couple time-sensitive opportunities for your team to consider. First, we have confirmed that for the next 2 days, a detailed schematic of the core server of the R&D facility is located at Helmont Architecture's HQ, where it will soon be shipped to the construction site. If you are able to find it, access it, and make a copy of it, it will certainly aid in the final operation in Colombia. Second, last night a massive cyber attack was executed against the Grossheisen Tower from a yet unknown assailant. This has severely crippled the ice defense of the tower, making it susceptible to further net diving activity. This will make it considerably easier to target for Omni-N infiltration. There is a caveat, however. While a Neo-Cortex operator works to restore the ice of the facility, Apex Security has not only doubled its on-site security from 10 to 20, but they have also assigned an elite security officer as the chief of security, an Eidolon known as Warsaw. Warsaw is a high ranking officer within Apex Security who has only a single protege, Deimos. Deimos is quite possibly one of the 5 leading officers being assigned the Samsara R&D facility. But should his superior be eliminated, this would likely relocate him to take Warsaw's post, and a lesser officer will fill his place in Columbia. This could significantly benefit your overall operation. It is important to note that the ICE security matrix will be completely restored in 4 days. Once it is fully restored, Warsaw will be recalled and the local team diminished back to 10 security officers. And of course, ICE will be far more robust within Grossheisen Tower. In summation, the primary mission: secure the physical copy of the R&D facility from Helmont Architecture. Secondary objective is only capable if you execute within the next 2 days, and that is to secure the central core system schematics. And finally, you could attempt to eliminate Warsaw and at least 50% of the on-site security to force Apex Security to reroute Deimos from the R&D facility security assignment. Now, and I'm almost done. A few simple assessments. First of all, central security within the tower is located on the 21st floor. This floor is inaccessible without first scanning an authorized badge within the elevator. The only person with such a badge are the security officers themselves and the manager of the building. Though central security is on the first floor, officers are likely to be positioned throughout the tower, but primarily on the ground floor and rooftop entrances. All others will be ready for deployment should they need to. We are not certain where the R&D facility blueprints or core server schematics will be located, but likely they will be under tight lock and key in one of the senior architect's offices, and possibly 2 of them, to keep a distance between the 2 for an extra level of security. It would behoove the team to try and deduce what rooms these can be found in before executing the mission. And finally, as mentioned, Central Judicial is a short distance down the street, so excessive noise, violence, and hacking could easily alert the authorities and complicate the mission considerably. Take that into consideration as you set your plans. I wish you the best of luck, Eidolons, and I'm certain you will not disappoint. Please do feel free to ask any other questions as you prepare. And with that, he pours you all an extra drink.
I'm wondering how much the second one is worth to our client.
Yes. A secondary objective for the central core server, he is willing to pay an additional 1,500 crypt, as well as to assist all of the Eidolons in further enhancement of your abilities. The other thing it will provide is a detailed schematic of the core server, which could aid in the final mission execution. Likewise, Net Zero is willing to pay 2,000 crypt per person to eliminate Warsaw and at least 50% of the security forces. In total, you're looking at a hefty payout, if you want to try and achieve all objectives.
Just so I'm clear, effectively what you're seeing is we have 48 hours to break in, hack twice, and leave a little over half the bodies in the building on the ground.
If you are attempting to achieve all objectives, yes, that is correct. You have 48 hours to set forth your plans and execute. Otherwise, the core server schematics are off the table of play.
I mean, that doesn't sound particularly complicated. How difficult does everybody want to make it?
I like easy, you know, but in lieu of easy, I like rich. One question I have for you, Vod. Oh, Octavius, please.
Yeah, I just want to ask Corvo what he's thinking in terms of his approach to this.
I'll give you 3 guesses.
No, the first 2 don't count. look, you need bodies on the ground, take enough firepower to put them there. You need somebody with a badge to take us up in the elevator, grand. Put a gun to the back of his head and make it very clear that the only way he's going to see tomorrow is if he puts his badge where it needs to go. After that, one of you lot can do the hacking. That's not really my field, but I can make sure that nobody finds you while you are being hacked. Or if they do, they regret getting out of bed that day. Not for long,
Well,
just for the rest
that
of
is
their
one
lives.
way. That is an option.
And look, I'm just going to reiterate again that I appreciate the professionalism, because honestly, that's probably my idea as well. Like, if you want it shot, I can shoot it, and if you want it blown up, I could probably blow it up. But I mean, the big man over there, like, he is literally a bulldozer with a shotgun. And and I grew up around farm equipment, so I appreciate that.
There are very few arguments that can't be solved with a shotgun round.
Very, very true. We've got the stick, but we also have the carrot. I mean, we've got some abilities in Octavius.
Mm-hmm.
We've got some abilities in Oaken to infiltrate, get as far as we can before we wreak havoc. I can handle the electronic stuff. We can make it difficult for them quite easily. One question I have, Vadi, is you said something about a cyber attack on Helmont. Do we know anything about the nature of the attack?
We don't. Unfortunately, it was devastating. No seeming target to the attack other than absolutely devastating the ice matrix of the facility. Nothing was stolen. And so we are looking at, again, highly diminished ice presence, which is very fortunate for this group, as ice would have been no doubt very thick in such a space. It does mean more on-site security, but by Gideon and Corvo's, I think you're perfectly fine in dealing with a little bit of corporate security. So this is an opportunity. Next 4 days, if you do not go within 2 days to try and secure the core server, certainly within 4 would be the most optimal time to infiltrate on the wake of whatever this attack was.
The idea of a cyber attack just for the sake of causing chaos and disruption to a mega corporation, let's be honest, works with some real assholes. This is music to my ears. Like, I want to know. I do think that if we could get a better understanding of the nature of this attack, it might lend itself to giving us a little bit of an indication of possibly the vulnerabilities and also where Helmont might be allocating their cyber resources, which might help me in circumnavigating said defense systems, etc., etc. I won't bore you with the details. This sounds really fun.
I think that's excellent, and though the house can start to do and allocate a little bit of resources there, I would recommend perhaps reaching out if you know of individuals who might be able to assist. Might
Right
be a
there
good
with
place
you,
to start.
Vaudeville. Right there
Yeah,
with you.
Yeah, does anyone know anybody in Germany?
Unfortunately,
Germany.
my contacts in Berlin were run out after the last intercorporate war. So Berlin this time, I'm not going to be much use, unfortunately.
What is Berlin but just another connectivity node? Am I right?
Yes,
Well,
we're all very aware that you haven't left your lounge in 2 years.
You don't know. You don't know, right? Wait.
Call it a very well-informed guess.
Corvo. Accessing your browser history right now. You know what I can do with that information.
That's fine.
Gideon
There's
knows.
nothing-
He's seen it before.
There's nothing in there that the house doesn't know about already. And since
That's
the
true.
house knows about you, I know about you.
Fair, fair. We'll leave it at that. We don't need to be making threats against each other quite yet. The time will come, I'm sure. But I love you dearly, Corvo, and I'm very excited to get after this mission. So many ideas.
Look, I feel like as far as foundations go for a plan, we've got the easy version. We can stack everything else on top of it if we need to. But 48 hours is 48 hours. And the sooner we get to it, the sooner we get after it, the more likely it'll be we can get it done within the time frame.
That is indeed true, and you say the word and the house will get a plane ready to go.
Just a side thought. If we go in guns blazing, so to speak, don't you think that would tip off the central core server place, that they might not be as secure as they think they are? Could we not think of a way potentially to, I don't know, get in, grab, and go? And just forget about Warsaw?
Could, should. Will?
I mean,
We could, but hear me out. I mean, there is also the option of, I suppose it would not change the fact that security might be bolstered, but we could lay some hints or clues pointing the finger in a different direction than us and making them waste valuable resources, considering who might have done this attack.
Yeah. I mean, I know a fella who,
I love those words.
yeah, he, I don't think he has a particular fondness of Samsara Medical, much the same as I don't. He might be able to distract enough of the security's attention away from us. So once we're in and we have what we need to have, he can cause a bit of a ruckus. He's done it before.
And I could leave a bit of a digital breadcrumb trail that leads right to someone. I like the way you think, Octavius, you devious bastard.
I like the way you work, Wyvern. Nobody has talent like that.
Aw, shucks.
I mean, if we really want to commit to the bit, why don't we just leave enough evidence behind that says that it was one of the minor houses doing the job? Really cover our tracks.
Can the house supply us with any sort of explosive device that is timed?
The house, I'm afraid, has allocated the necessary resources to get you the information provided in the contract. For some sort of ordinance, I would suggest perhaps reaching out to your own networks.
Fair.
I think
Or
that
if
would
any
be...
of you have a little bit of extra crypt, you certainly can try and procure one yourself.
Extra? Are there any corporations that are maybe particularly disliked by Samsara or Helmut that we could maybe try to implicate? I mean, I really like this idea, Octavius, of distracting and you know, forcing Samsara and their corporate stooges to focus on someone else for a while we sneak about and do the things that we need to do.
Wyvern or anyone else who's pondering this, would you like to make a civics check?
Yeah.
First check of the game. That's going to be under
boy.
intelligence.
Okay.
And as a reminder, it will be your intelligence number of d6s, and then you add the civic skill onto the result of the roll.
Okay. I have a 16 on my civics roll.
16. Excellent. Wyvern, it's a mega corporation, so naturally mega corporations pretty much hate every other mega corporation. They're all vying and doing everything. However, there's a couple that stand out to you. First of all, this tower, who's responsible for the digital matrix, is the mega corporation known as Neocortex. And since they're the ones doing the repairs, they could be a sort of easy target for a scapegoat. And it wouldn't be out of the ordinary for, say, a mega corporation like this to try and take the advantage during a routine repair of the systems to take advantage of Samsara. So they're the most perhaps glaring. You also know that Apex Security is the mega corporation of corporate security, and though they're fairly trusted by corporations, they have been known to do some shady things or self-interested things, especially when it's not directly targeted at another more mega corporation, but maybe through the many different middling organizations like Helmont Architecture that support different agencies. Both of those seem like fairly good potential options as far as mega corporations go.
Anybody have any contacts with Neocortex by any chance? No? Well,
Are we looking to make friends, or are we looking to disguise ourselves?
I'm looking for possibly some credentials that would allow us to, I don't know, put a bit of a cloaking on ourselves so we maybe look a little bit different.
I mean, well, I could, in terms of getting in and out, like I could talk to Queenie. She's the go-to lady if you need someone to get somewhere or get out of somewhere, and she's pretty good at keeping everyone under the radar as well. But in terms of finding us something that could point towards Neocortex, I don't know if she could do that. I could try and ask, but
I can look into the digital side of things, so we have a few little breadcrumbs to drop, but maybe if there's a piece of physical evidence that we could also leave behind just to sweeten the deal.
well, yeah, if we're talking about all this mega corporate espionage, I mean, Apex Security ain't squeaky clean. So, what's to say we don't take out Warsaw and then just pin it on Helmo?
I don't know, I kind of like crashing in, the idea of crashing in like Neocortex and making out like bandicoots.
After we shoot Warsaw in the face, yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's always collateral damage when you bring Gideon and Corvo along, so let the boys play.
I just ask that you give us enough time to at least have myself and Oak and May get a little bit of distance
Oh, of course.
between
Yeah,
us
yeah,
and the
yeah.
building.
Absolutely. You bet. You can get in and do what you do because y'all do it so well. And then you tell us when, and we'll flip the switch and start setting things on fire.
I'll be quiet until it's time to go loud. And when it's time to go loud, it'll get very loud.
I like that approach.
Agreed. Here, here.
Might need a little time before we set out to touch base with some contacts and just, noodle around to see if I can gather some intel on some digital breadcrumbs and the like.
I mean, yeah, I don't know how much reach the Conclave has. It seems pretty insular. But I know that they tend to keep their eyes on the rest of the world to figure out where things are. Gideon will look at Oaken and just be like, "You were at the Conclave, right? Like, you've got the eye, same as me." Both of Gideon's eyes are purple. Like, you were there, right?
I don't remember.
He'll look at you and be like, "Yeah, wow, they really did a number on you, huh?" Alright.
So, do we say that we get on the jet maybe in 6 hours? That way we can get to Berlin and make camp, start our go?
little surveillance, a little lay of the land, and then bing, bang, boom. We get her started.
Yes, perhaps you reach out to your contacts on your way. I would say 6 hours gives you a little bit of time to make what calls you might need, but I would not wait much longer than that to make sure that you can get there and execute within the 48-hour window. I will get the plane ready. Do let me know if you have any further questions, otherwise I leave it to you and your contacts to figure out the rest. Good luck, Eidolons. He pours you all one more glass, and then he walks from behind the bar and heads off into a back room.
I don't know if you guys know this, but I think Vaudeville wants me drunk.
I get the sense that he is well on his way to succeeding, Oaken.
Yeah.
Tell me, what does that whiskey smell like? There's one hindrance of my situation is I can't smell it. The whiskey.
A barrel, 30 years old.
Oh,
And
single malt or blend.
yes, single
Oh.
malt, and definitely Irish.
Oh, the Irish.
Mm.
Would anybody like to make a contact call at this time?
Yeah, I can call Queenie.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how contacts work, each of you, by the way, should have 6 influence on your character sheet. It might have said 3. You all have 6. And for every point of influence you spend on a contact, you roll an extra d6, and that determines the quality of sort of the ask and information you're going to get from them. And of course, the more they're aligned with the information you're asking for, the better the result, or the easier it's going to be to get good information.
Okay.
So you're calling Queenie?
Yeah, I'll call Queenie.
All right. Well, hey there, Gideon. How's it going, darling?
Well, hi, Queenie. It's good to hear your voice again.
It's been a little bit of time.
It has. I've been busy. I've been, trying to stay out of trouble, just like you taught me.
Absolutely. Knowing you, Gideon, you're doing a good job. No doubt.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, look, I have found myself on a job with Vern and Oaken May and Octavius, the fine gentleman himself, and Corvo as well, which is an odd pairing, but I mean, the man is a consummate professional, and I was wondering if you might know a way to gather some sort of physical paraphernalia that might tie someone to neocortex.
It sounds like you got yourself quite the party there, Gideon. Neocortex, is that right?
Yeah. Apparently they operate similar to Vern, apparently.
Yeah. I know neocortex and their net diving equipment.
Well, we're just wondering if, say someone wanted to cause a bit of trouble and start a bit of a situation and maybe point the finger towards neocortex. Is that something you think you could help us with?
Maybe,
I don't want you to push the boat out or anything. Like I know that the ranch
Gideon.
always comes first.
Of course. But a lot of things move through the ranch, darling. So, tell you what, let me give it a think, and go ahead and make an influence check. How many influence do you want to put towards this ask?
You know what? 2. I'm gonna
2?
use
Okay.
2. Yeah.
Go ahead and roll 2d6.
Okie dokie. Huh. I got 2 5s.
2 5. Nice. Very good. You know what? I might have something for you. I don't know if it's gonna be perfect, but It's concise enough. It's maybe a bit of both physical and digital breadcrumb you might be looking for. Where am I sending it to? Where do you need it at, darling?
Well, we are on our way to Berlin, no less. And
Berlin.
yeah, and we need to get to a specific building. What was the name of the tower? It was the
Grossheisen.
Grossheisen. Yeah, so we need to get along to the Grossheisen Tower. We got some folks that we need to have a little conversation with there.
I tell you what, I'll send a package to the Grossheisen Tower, darling, and I'll have it waiting there under the name Kevin McAllister.
Nice, nice. I like it.
So all you need to do is get someone in the front door to that front desk and ask for a package as Kevin McAllister. And that will be your little ticket to possibly framing Neocortex. At least if they don't look too careful.
Well, I appreciate. I know just the person to do that. Get in the door and get a package. Absolutely. I really appreciate this, Queenie. You are so good at what you do.
Oh, you as well, Gideon. That's how we do it, as a team, and it sounds like you have one hell of a team. Best of luck, darling.
Thank you, Queenie. I appreciate you.
And there we go.
Sweet. I'll end the call and come back and say, well, looks like Queenie can get us a little delivery to the Grossheisen Towers, and we just need someone to get in the door and pick it up. And Octavius, I figured you would probably be the best one for it.
I think that makes perfect sense, which brings me to a question that I wanted to pose to our team. Would you like me to go in looking like myself or like someone else?
Well, if you could go in looking like a Kevin McAllister, that would be very helpful.
Perfect. Absolutely. I can do that. No problem.
I think ultimately, as it stands, if we're trying to put chaff in the air, then the more disguised we can be, the better. So the less like yourself you look, the longer it'll take them to find out who you were.
I'll be honest, there was no way I was going to go in there looking like myself. I think the larger question is, do you want me to go in looking like someone who is meant to be there? Or do you want me to go in looking like someone we perhaps want to frame and does not belong there? Because I can do either.
From my experience, I think the second is necessary. But I leave it to the group to decide.
Well, Queenie's going to send us some stuff.
I have questions about what that experience is.
We'll get into it over another glass some other time.
There should not be another glass tonight, correct?
How much do you have?
Like I said, vaudeville wants me drunk.
He does pour him heavy.
I'll sober up before we get on the jet. There will be no throwing up on the plane, okay?
I mean, it's a long flight, so have another.
It's fine, Vern. Remember, at the ranch, they call her, camel bladder. It's all good. No, she'll be fine.
Really?
She's going to be fine. But, Octavius, Queenie's going to send the package that may give us the ability to point some very heavy fingers towards Neocortex. So maybe you want to present yourself as someone aligned to that as well.
I think that is an excellent idea.
I think I might just make a quick call en route to the to Berlin, or at some point to Malachi, because I'm interested in perhaps being able to add some digital footprints, as it were, some virtual footprints to this plan, and make it look as though perhaps Neocortex has been pinging the system, looking for additional vulnerabilities in light of the massive cyber attack.
Okay.
And looking for any sort of I my guess is that I could probably do some of this, but it never hurts to phone a friend.
Sure. Yeah, give Malachi a call.
Yeah. Excuse me for 1 minute, and you just see like this big red mute like symbol kind of like pops up, and you can no longer hear me, but you can see me as I'm just talking.
Wyvern, that you?
Yeah, Malachi. You sound good.
on.
Everything okay?
Oh yeah, it's you. Okay.
It's me. Wait, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Wait, yep, no, I can hear you.
Oh, I
Yep.
can hear you now. Yep. Everything. Wait, you're
Perfect.
breaking up. What? No, it's
Really?
good. No.
Oh,
are you okay?
Wyvern. I see what you did there.
I'm just messing with you, brother. Hey, so I've got a job, and things. I want to impress my friends and like do it. I want to do this right. I've got a little bit of an infiltration operation going on. I figured maybe you can help out. I know how much you like to dabble on the side.
Is it corporation?
Yeah, it is actually.
Then
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
I
yeah.
love dabbling on the side.
I knew you'd be into it. I certainly knew. Look, we've got a tower in Berlin that we're gonna go on a little bit of a tour of.
Berlin?
Have you been there?
No, but they just had is it
Ah.
the Grossheisen Tower? There was a
Ah.
massive ripple in submersion space. That place got hit hard.
Yeah. I mean, do you know anything about it? Like, who was it? Was it Net Zero?
No, but maybe Net Zero. Kind of pauses for a second in thought. Could have been. I mean, maybe Net Zero's got something new, but this was it's a buzz on the forums. If you haven't seen it, you should go check it out. I mean, it's advanced. It's real advanced stuff.
Wow. I mean, coming from you, that means something. I'll definitely check it out. Do you know? Are they like what? Do you know what systems are down? Any vulnerabilities that people are talking about? What's the buzz?
Most of them, I think. Of course, still Omnian's functioning, but I don't think there's much for ice. And on a downtown skyscraper with that many high clientele, that's a big problem. I know Neocortex is none too happy about it.
Funny that you mentioned Neocortex. I mean, what are the odds that you would mention of all the corporations, Neocortex? Because we have hatched a little bit of a plan. Now, of course, this can't go beyond us, right? We're on a secure line.
100%.
Hello? Are we on a secure line? Holy shit.
Yeah. No, this is 100% secure. I'm 90% sure of that. So,
Hold on, doing some math. Forget it. Look, Neocortex. We've got, let's just say one of our operatives. I'm not going to say their name, but you know who they are, and they're good, real good. Gonna sneak in. Gonna make it seem like Neocortex is faffing about, possibly looking for additional vulnerabilities. Now, I'm wondering if you have any or have access to any incriminating information that we could use to plant just a few breadcrumbs that might help lead any sort of suspicions back to Neocortex.
influence check. How many influence do you want to throw at this?
I'm gonna use 3.
3, all right, let's do it.
Is it the total? Am I adding them up?
Yep.
Yep, so 13 total.
13. Now, Vern, I don't have anything per se, but I can 100% fabricate something for Neocortex. I mean, they're vulnerable right now, and this sounds like some scapegoating.
Yeah. Exactly what I was thinking.
This could really light things up on the forums. Ooh, some drama between the mega corporations.
And here's
I'm
the
liking
pitch,
that.
though, Malachi. You got about 6 hours. You think you can come up with something juicy in 6 hours?
6 hours? Well, give it the old college try, but definitely within 24.
College? What the hell is that?
That's a thing people used to go to before they could like plug stuff into their brains right away.
Really?
Yeah,
Like a
they had to
physical
go
place
like
that they went?
they had to like read books. Yeah, it's pretty lame.
Wow. Who would have thunk?
But yeah, I think I could get to. I'll try for 6 hours. Might not be exactly 6. You guys running the mission in 6 hours?
Well, we're under a little bit of a time crunch, give or take.
I'd say. Well, I'll do it as fast as I can. We'll try for 6 hours, but hopefully you're not in that much of a time crunch.
We'll take what we can get. I know you
Okay.
can do it.
Sounds good. And keep your eyes out when you're running, when you're swimming through submersion space in that place. If you are, like, no one's gone in yet. I'd be curious to see what sort of carnage was left from that attack. Maybe you can find like a signature or somebody. See which net diver is behind this. Guy's got some cojones.
I will definitely be looking for them. Yeah, and I will let you know. I'm gonna do some research. I've got some time. You're gonna get to work. I'm gonna get to work. It's all gonna work out. And just so you know, our fallback plan, operation fallback plan, Corvo. Huh?
Oh, I mean, be careful, Vern. I don't know if you want to frame that guy. He doesn't seem like one who takes well to being framed.
No, he frames the entire thing. You know what I mean?
Oh, he's your backup if the breadcrumb isn't
Yeah,
necessary.
he is the frame.
Oh yeah, that will do.
I love working with this team. I'm so excited. I'm so thrilled.
Well,
all right.
I gotta get to work. What the
Thank
hell are you
you.
talking to me? All right, you take care, Wyvern.
Namaste, brother.
Namaste. All right. And that's that. Anybody else have contacts? Anything you want to call before you head over to maybe do some scouting or some preliminary work?
So as the giant red mute sign over Vern disappears, Corvo's gonna finish the last dregs of his beer. Vern, are you actually coming with us this time in the flesh, or are you just sending another digital avatar to Berlin with us?
I've made arrangements. You know me. I like to be close-ish to the action, but not, physically deep in there. But I mean, I've got just as much in the game as the rest of you.
Right. Good. Well, if we've nothing else to be doing in this particular bar, I suggest we all go and pick up the equipment we need and meet on the jet. A 6-hour flight is a 6-hour flight, and the sooner we get it done, the more time we've got on the ground in Berlin.
All right. And with that, you all head out, pack up your gear, and meet on the runway and embark on your flight to Berlin. And why don't we actually, maybe now is a good time, about halfway through, why don't we take a 5-10 minute break for
on.
everybody, and then we'll resume and figure out the rest of this plan.
Sounds great.
Nice. Love it.
we are back. Thanks everybody for sticking around. We resume with the House of Weeping Gamora's Eidolon team landing in the city of Berlin, city of kings. So you guys arrived. House of Weeping Gamora has bought a subpar hotel room for you guys to stay in if you need to, but well, otherwise you're on your own now that you're on the ground in Berlin. As mentioned, the Grossheisen Tower is downtown Berlin, in the skyscraper district. So it's been since mission contract, it's maybe been about after you got the mission, called contacts, had conversations, and flown, it's been about 8 to 10-ish hours in the 48-hour mark. You arrive in Berlin about 6 p.m. And so that's where we will begin. So what is the Eidolon team next move?
Looking at I guess the district where we've landed, have we landed in like an official airport?
You've landed at a small private airport, aircraft can land in much tighter facilities now. So it's pretty discreet. You're not like moving through any kind of major terminal or anything like that. It's something the house is kind of utilize. So you're kind of in one of the, maybe a little bit more of the outer sections of Berlin. Berlin's of course much larger than it is like as we would know it today. Berlin is a metropolis and huge sprawling megapolis or whatever. And so it would be, I mean, a drive, but you could probably get to the downtown in roughly an hour if you wanted to go downtown right away.
Well, what's the plan now?
Well, I was wondering, Octavius, do you need any lead time before you get your disguise put together?
I should probably make a call about that. I'm thinking 2 disguises. I think my first will be befitting the name Kevin McAllister, and that I can do through archive footage. Real simple. But I think it would be good to have that through line with Neocortex, and so I'll make a call. Well, shouldn't take too long.
All right, who are you calling, Octavius?
Calling Dr. Ripley.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yes, good evening, Octavius. What can I do for you?
Good evening, Dr. Ripley. How are you tonight?
As good as can be. I just had a successful surgery conducted. It went well.
Dr. Ripley, you
wait.
are a medical examiner.
Wait. Remind me who Dr. Ripley is again. I thought he's your medical guy, right?
He is, but he's my medical examiner.
Oh, yeah.
I still like the idea that he would call an autopsy a successful surgery. I think that just like fits perfectly.
Yeah, perfect.
That is a way to talk about doing what you do.
Yes, the client is resting well.
I have no doubt they are.
What can I do for you, Octavius?
Well, Dr. Ripley, I am in need of a new face.
Well, you always know I'm good for that. One moment, let me go check the slabs. What kind of face do we need?
Well, if by some miracle you had access to a face connected to Neocortex, that would be perfect.
no neocortex individuals, though maybe some people who could come across that way. That is, of course, unless, I don't know, somebody from neocortex shows up in the next little bit. Perhaps then we can get you that face.
We could work on getting someone onto one of your slabs, but we might want to stick with the plan of someone who could be adjacent to neocortex, who has
Go
that
ahead and
link.
make an influence check.
I would like to spend 3 influence die.
Perfect.
All right, that is a 13.
13. Yes. Here's one. I think his name was Carl. You hear the moving of a drawer. Yes, he might do the job well. I'll get the face program over to you, and I'll throw in a little bit of extra information, and my offer still stands. If a neocortex individual does show up, I will be more than happy to send the schematics your way.
I will keep that in mind, and maybe we can make that dream happen for both of us.
Oh my. Carl, yeah, oh yes, I remember. Carl, asphyxiated. Yes. I think a little romantic rendezvous gone terribly wrong. Anyways,
Tragic.
regardless, yes, it is. These things happen. Well, I'll send it over shortly. If you need anything else, Octavius, of course, I'm more than happy to oblige.
Always a pleasure, Dr. Ripley.
Click. Well, I guess in your head, click. And within about an hour, you receive the full schematics to the facial pattern change. It is somebody who actually has quite a few similarities to Byrne in sort of facial demeanor. And not like exactly like Byrne by any means, but they just kind of have a certain like spent way too much time in front of a screen, like not in the sunlight sort of demeanor.
What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say?
It's trying to say you look great under a beer light, Vern.
Right? I need to get out more. I understand. I mean, I get that recommendation quite a bit.
This individual seemed to be a low-level net diver as well as a night shift janitorial individual. Yeah. So again, probably with the right clothing, with the right schmuck getup, you should be looking fairly neocortex kind of net diver, adjuster slash matrix designer.
Beautiful. It's everything I've ever wanted.
Well, I don't know about you guys. I would like to take Zip for a little fly and see if I can see stuff around the tower. Does anybody want to come with me, or do you want me to just broadcast back?
Oh, I'll come with. I'll take a walk. Might be nice to see it for myself.
Well, while you're doing that, we'll find a base of operations somewhere that we can stage from that's unconnected with the house, so that we can keep selling this idea that we aren't from Weeping Gamora. I'll keep you posted, but we'll be keeping an eye out for ideally pay by the hour motels somewhere where they aren't too choosy about IDs.
Can I have you, Corvo? You could either make a net diving check to see what you can find, just kind of browsing online advertisements around such a nature in the area, or you could make just a general civics check around the city and its layout. If you've ever been to Berlin, I'm sure you've been once or twice.
Yeah, I think I'll go civics there.
Okay.
That just seems more likely. I understand computers are part of the world, but I don't know how to run them. That's a 5 total.
A 5. As far as all you can find, this is a skyscraper district, and mainly what you're coming across is really high-end hotels, such as Der Prinz, and others like it, 5-star skyscraper sort of hotels around the area. Anything remotely kind of cheap, under the radar kind of, is going to be pretty good distance out from the skyscraper district, at least from what you can find.
Sure. I have a question.
Yeah.
As someone who has moved in the security space for the houses, but has spent not a lot of time in Berlin, but around places like this, would it be possible for me to perhaps do a sort of I guess casting about for maybe take a quick walk through some of these hotels and run some quick conversations with the concierge at the desk, hitting on like sort of a streetwise approach to see which ones might be okay with the idea of disappearing us into an empty room without asking for IDs.
Yes, we can definitely. So maybe when Oaken and Gideon head in on site, you'll kind of do a walk around some of the local hotels.
Excellent. Yeah, my thing there was sort of very coyly suggesting that I do a streetwise roll to see if I get any success there.
Absolutely. Anything else? Otherwise, what we'll do is we'll transition the scene in VTT to the front of the hotel. Do you want to wait? My question would be, you're arriving downtown roughly around 7 p.m. You do know, according to the mission debrief, that the tower, or at least some of the levels of the tower, are fairly well occupied until 8 p.m. Certainly Helmont Architecture. Do you want to wait until after 8 p.m., or are you okay just kind of doing a glance around during some operational hours?
There's probably like some cafes, street level cyber cafes or things like that where we could easily blend in and maybe still get eyes on the comings and goings of what's happening, just to use the day. That would be my suggestion. And just for the record, as we disembarked the plane, you watch as Wyvern's complete avatar shifts into tight black pants, a black long sleeve turtleneck, and sort of this black sort of bowl cut, full sprockets, as he walks off and kind of does a little bit of an Egyptian sort of thing, and then walks down onto the tarmac. And if you get that reference, then you're probably in my demographic.
Yeah, I think also on the flight over, Gideon has tried to find like a street coat, like a longer coat that he can wear that will hide the very obvious like holsters on his hips. But I think he also went to Octavius and was like, "What do you think, man? Like, should I go for like a blue or like a gray? Like, what do you think works?"
I think a blue would bring out your eyes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. I like it. So yeah, like Gideon is just full on looking at Octavius like, I will stick out like a sore thumb. So I just want to make sure that I'm less of a sore thumb.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so you definitely just from like a little vendor along the way. Generally speaking, we run along the kind of idea that pocket change is pretty easy to come by. Something like that's not going to be expensive. So you get that taken care of, and and then we arrive. Gideon and Oaken, you guys arrive to your destination. I'm going to get you onto the board here. And we're gonna switch scenes. Let's see, and now I think the only two people who will be on scene will be Gideon and Oaken, but you all should be able to see through them. Let me know if there is any issue. Oh, can you guys? Oh yeah. There we go.
That looks good.
Perfect. Okay, so you arrive. You're out front, just a ways down. The sort of entrance is over this way. Different people are walking the street. Across the street, there is a kind of cyber cafe, different restaurants, different things like that. All pretty fancy, fairly expensive looking. Before we go, Gideon, can I just have you make a guile check? Mainly just your sort of concealing yourself and kind of disguising yourself.
Yep, absolutely. Ooh, that is 21.
Yeah, them scions are pretty good at all them social skills. Yeah, perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, you no one would even tell that you're armed. You look just the part. And Octavius was right. The blue goes perfect with your eyes.
Yeah, he set me up with a nice long coat that hides, and it's got like a highwayman collar, so you can like pop it up and it sits to like here.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys are out front of the building. Back over this way, to your what would be your right as you look at the screen. Back over this way, you know that there was an alleyway between the hotel and the next sort of very tall building to the side. The entrance to the main tower is over here, and like most of these towers, it's publicly accessible, but it's once you get into the elevators that you usually need things like key cards or biometrics.
Well, I want to introduce you to my little friend, Gideon. I have this, and she pulls out a tiny little thing in her hand, and she says, "This is Zip." And he looks at it, and it's my bat.
Hold up, is that a bat? Did you bring a bat on a plane?
I sure did. He is amazing, and I can send him up this tower and watch what he watches. So,
You can hold up. You can watch what he wants. You can like see through him.
Yes. Whatever he sees, he can come back to me on.
Okay, that's amazing.
Yes, that's
That's
why I
pretty
wanted
good.
to take him to the tower. So, the problem that I see right now is there's still a little too much light out. So if we just want to kind of scope out the that place
There
over
was an
there.
alleyway back there.
Yeah. And then when it gets a little darker, I can let him go.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Now, feel free to move freely as you guys would like.
You want to head down here?
Yeah.
Huh. I mean, sure, it's big enough, but look at the location.
So you see down. You can see down quite a ways. It's getting fairly dark out, and then down this hallway, or down the alleyway, you can see far down. There seems to be a control panel and light to what looks like kind of a maintenance entrance or kind of a backdoor entrance to the ground floor of the skyscraper.
Yeah, I think the time Gideon has spent on the ranch has taught him how to kind of move about unseen, as though look like he's supposed to be there. So he'll just wander down the alleyway and look like someone who's, I don't know, maybe trying to, are there like dumpsters and stuff here or boxes, or is it just empty?
Yeah, you can see way down the range, and I'll adjust your vision a little bit since it's not totally dark. You can see down there seems to be several dumpsters, and then kind of a blinking light for a doorway. A control panel. You also notice, however, down near at the end of your view, up above the dumpsters, there does seem to be a camera aimed a bit more on the actual back entrance than down the alleyway proper. So you could probably get fairly close, but
Gideon, I don't feel good about that. How tall is the building next to it?
The building next to it is almost comparable. I mean, it's also another kind of skyscraper, but it starts out as like a 3 to 4 story sort of building, but then near its center, it shoots up into a tower.
Okay.
And the camera is just static, pointed on that door?
Yeah, the camera to what you can. Why don't you go ahead and make an awareness check for me?
Yeah, I'll make an awareness check. All right, come on. 10, 15.
15. Yeah, it looks fairly static. It looks like it's nothing crazy. It looks like a pretty standard, just making sure nobody's sneaking out of their shift or sneaking in the back door sort of situation.
Yep.
They don't really care about the garbage men.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, Oaken, it looks like that camera's pretty static. Looks like it's just watching the door. We could just park ourselves right here by these dumpsters, and I'm pretty sure it wouldn't see us.
Makes sense. I'll be right there.
Yeah, Gideon will like grab like a trash bag in one hand, just in case someone's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" He'd be like, "Oh, just putting out
Take it
trash."
out.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah, there's no windows on this side, at least on the ground floor. From here, Oaken, you can see that most of the tower is pretty much just glass walls for most of the skyscraper, the entire way up.
Got it. How close are we to dark?
Yeah, I mean
it is winter.
It is, yeah, that's true. It's pretty much dark out as far as, but you are in the downtown skyscraper district. There's generally lots of lights, so it's probably about as dark as it's going to get.
Okay, beautiful. I would like to send Zip on a roundabout on the 2 floors that we are concerned with.
Okay, so 23rd floor.
Correct, and the 21st.
And 21st.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes. The first thing you notice with Zip, so Zip goes flying up. I mean, it just looks like a typical grody city bat, by all intents and purposes. 21st floor has 0 windows. It's the one floor that seems to have no windows to the premises. 23rd floor. Why don't... Give me 1 second here. So I'll just get Zip into place here.
Hey, thanks for the resub, Phantom MJ. Appreciate you, buddy.
Sorry, 1 second, guys. Why isn't that working? There we go. All right. So we're gonna activate. So Zip, which is right up near the very top right corner. Did it activate to that? Yeah, okay. So you fly up and you're looking through the kind of alleyway window virtually directly above where your character's at.
Okay. Gideon, I'm getting a good picture of what it actually looks like on the 23rd floor, but unfortunately, I can't get to the 21st. What do you think?
Uh, well, I mean, I'm not surprised about the 21st floor, right? Because that's where they had their security stuff. But
Correct.
23rd, like, what's it look like up there?
Well, it looks like we've got some desks.
Oaken,
Yes.
at this point, I will remind you that you have a special upgrade on your bat that can pipe its visual feeds to everyone, correct?
Oh, yeah, I do. Well, I'm just going to send it to Gideon at this point.
Okay.
Sweet.
Gideon,
As,
you
as soon as it hits, Gideon gets like massive vertigo and it's like, whoa, whoa, what the? How? Whoa. That's okay. All right.
So, do you see what I'm seeing? There's a door in the back. There's a couch.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, most of the people are gone because it's after their time to be here. But I'm feeling good about that. But I don't see anything that would lead us to believe something's in this particular area.
Well, I mean, it looks like there's like some sort of control desk. There's looks like a display unit there somewhere. Is that
Yes.
a camera in the corner as well?
That's correct. Yep, you can see a camera above a little bush. There is some sort of larger storage unit with a control panel on it. There's also this table is like a architectural, like virtual display that's sort of coming up. And then there's also several cases, looks like almost like field equipment cases lined up next to these sort of things.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's obviously something there. You don't put a camera in the corner of the room unless you want to look at it. So.
Exactly. All right, I'm gonna send the floor plans to everybody so we know what's on at least this part of the 23rd floor. I'm gonna recall Zip because
Is Zip doing a lap around the facility? Because this is only one room in the
Oh,
in the
yes,
skyscraper.
around.
Okay, so you can go ahead and move Zip around the facility and look through all of the windows if you'd like.
Okay.
All right. Okay. That's all. Yep. Okay. Big central console.
Yep, I see that too.
Hmm.
I'm having problems with moving Zip around. Sorry.
You can also use WASD as well and just tap it, and that should move Zip. The only thing is, yeah, you don't want to move Zip into the wall because then it will cause a collision.
Right.
But if you click on Zip and you just hit the S button, that will just keep on moving it down.
Okay. There it is.
All right. All right. Looks like two rooms relatively similar. So maybe it's, I don't know, some sort of like a workstation.
Potentially. I mean, we don't have anybody there right now, so we could see or potentially think that someone's going to be sitting there.
Oh, this one's a lot different. Okay.
And Oaken, do you want me to move the bat, or are you
Yes,
good?
please.
Okay, sounds good. I'll just do a slow move around. I will highlight here. This looks to be like some sort of safe, highly secure safe. And then again, another kind of projection of architectural design. Some tables over here with computer equipment.
So are the rest of us seeing this right now, Oaken, as well, or just the two of you?
We're just seeing this right now, just me and Gideon.
Okay.
But I'm going to make note of the floor plan so that we know what's on the 23rd floor, and then I'm going to send it to you guys.
This looks like some sort of meeting room.
Looks like some sort of meeting room.
Do you think... Okay, so if I were to guess, so far that back room seems like the most likely to have the schematics, but let's see what else Zip can get for me.
I mean, yeah, we did see a room that had a big old safe in it. Might
That's
be there.
true too. That's true too.
You guys just let me know if you want me to stop the bat, slow down the bat. Oh, why is that? Oh, I know. Second.
That's another big room. Another one of them displays.
Also looks like there's a safe and another sort of secure digital storage unit over here. This looks more like a closet with a window. And then this looks like a large-scale board.
Yeah, it's a boardroom. If ever I see one.
Boardroom, yeah. And then as it flies further up, essentially, it's the skyscraper, at least this level, is backed against another building. So there's nothing on its north side. Anywhere else you want the bat to go back to before you recall it?
Gideon, did you get a good look too? Do you want me to ask Zip to do anything?
No, I think I got a decent enough idea.
Wonderful. Okay, I'm gonna put that schematic together and send it to everybody with the note. This is what we scoped out on the 23rd floor. Unfortunately, we can't get 21st, and then I will recall Zip.
And we go back down to first floor.
Oaken, have you always been able to do that?
It's a recent upgrade I am in love with.
All right.
Zip is new to me. I kind of wanted something tiny, but he's tiny, but I think it helps that he has wings rather than the squirrel that I had my eye on.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, squirrels can climb pretty fast, but that was impressive. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
As we walk off, Gideon remembers he still has the trash bag. He's like, oh, wait.
And then I'll see if the schematic to the floor can load into the chat here. If it can, I'll post it separately. So that's the 23rd floor, at least through the windows. I mean, likely from what you were seeing, there would be yet, internal, like where elevators and stuff like that. You definitely didn't see that sort of stuff. But in general, you have an idea of the layout of the facility now, or at least of the 23rd floor. We're gonna jump over to Corvo, who is doing some. Unless somebody else wants to jump in, we'll jump over to Corvo, where he's doing some scout for a good base operations. So Corvo, you've been going around to some different hotels and things like this. In general, you're just trying to basically have discreet conversations to try and figure out a good way, or are you kind of eyeing out first using a streetwise sort of check to figure out a person or individual or facility that might be amicable to serving as base of operations?
I think that, like, Corvo's approach as someone who is like he's been around, he's put some serious shoe leather down around the world. He's basically just got like a few questions that he's asking the concierges that sort of, because obviously European hotels famous for their discretion, but there's discretion that's expected because you're a high-end European hotel, and then there's the discretion that means that they're willing to take cash on the barrelhead so that they don't go through with the very typical leaving your ID with the concierge, with the hotel, for a number of reasons that are all very well known in the European sector. So yeah, it's that kind of like that streetwise sort of like conversational gambits to see how their response is, to see whether or not this is like, they cool, we cool, how's this? Like, yeah, but it's a very similar conversation held a number of times until they can find somewhere that can be used as a staging ground.
Can I go ahead and have you make a streetwise check for me?
Absolutely, you can. That is a grand total of 8, which is
not great.
Slightly disappointing.
Can I also have you make a charisma check with me, just as you're talking with these individuals, navigating dialogue?
Whoa, yeah, okay, I can do that. Why not? I am definitely a charismatic fridge with a haircut. Oh, that's not too bad. That's 11.
11. Okay. You enter into a number of hotels. Most of the concierge that you approach are you're met with a kind of almost offense or just straight up rejection. You've gone to 2 or 3 hotels, and you similar to all of the rest, you enter into Der Prinz hotel, and you kind of face the same rejection, and you're on your way out, and there is this bellboy, and he kind of looks at you and quietly follows you out of the building. He's like, hey you.
I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of being followed, so speak quickly.
Yeah. I kind of heard what you were saying. I probably not this hotel, but
Pull up the sleeve on the bomber jacket, like on his left arm.
Just
go ahead. Loosening up his fingers in his left hand. Eavesdropping as well, is it? That's exciting.
Can you go ahead and make an intimidation check?
Absolutely, I can. Oh, that's better. That's 16.
All right, this guy looks about ready to have issues with his bladder. And so
I do want to be very specific. It's just the left sleeve that he's rolled up.
Okay. He's a little shaken. He's like swallows hard. Listen, it was a while ago. I helped guys like you. They didn't operate out of here, but there's this strip club just down that way, about a block. It's gone through some hard times, but that's what they use. They might be more amicable. I just tried to be helpful,
Yeah,
As he looked at you somewhat expectantly.
The bellboy would see kind of like the seams in the cybernetic forearm that Corvo has on his left arm flex, and then Corvo would, like, with his right hand, reach into his pocket and pull out like a wad of folding currency. And they're reasonably discreet, did you say?
I think the new owners, it's called Girls. Yeah, they're not very creative with names. I know, but
discreet thing.
But I mean, everybody knows what the establishment is. I'm just saying that they, nobody's gonna really care. Anyway,
do you know if they're aligned with any of the mega corporations, or are they an independent venture?
Not with mega corporate. No, I don't think with any of the mega corporations. Probably with one of the syndicates. I think last I heard maybe some ties in with the dynasty or something. But yeah, it's a strip club. That's kind of the deal.
I can roll those dice, and he peels off like a few notes. Nothing too excessive, but a reasonable tip. for the build.
He takes the folded currency and he kind of looks at it, somewhat unsure of what to do with it, as most currency is now digital these days, and he's like, happy to help, good luck. And then he kind of slowly backs away from you, kind of eyeing to see if you're going to do anything, waiting for the automatic doors to sort of open behind him, where he eventually slips back in.
Yeah, I think Corvo would go wide with just a quick update, letting everybody know that he's got a potential base of operations, and then he'd head down to have a chat with the, I'm sure, delightfully suave and sophisticated owners of Girls, Girls, Girls.
Excellent. In the meantime, while you head off to Girls, Vern and Octavius, are you guys up to anything in particular at this time, or just kind of waiting for your moments?
Well, I know that Vern has, in the meantime, I don't know how much we need to go into it, or if you want to do some rolls or whatever it might be, but I would have my physical form would have been taken care of in terms of getting to a location nearby where I can access connection nodes and all that good stuff.
Sure. For that, can I have Vern make first a civics check,
okay.
A civics or a net diving check, either one, your call, and then just to find a potential good location, and then the second thing would be to make a concealment check first.
Okay, so we'll do a net diving check first. Yeah, it's 21.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, you actually find a perfect sort of rentable booth cyber cafe, just down the block from the Großheisen Tower. It's a little bit on the expensive side, but this one will not kick you out after so many hours, so you can kind of bunker down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I need the space for an extended stay.
Perfect. And so then the next thing I'll have you do is make the concealment check.
Gotcha. Okay. That is only a 10.
A 10. Okay. You're in general, you're like, well, it's a cyber cafe, it's closed boothing, all of this sort of stuff. If it gets to the point that people are hunting you down the block to the cyber cafe, you know, no amount of hiding in the cyber cafe is going to really matter. So you just basically close the door, that's your operation location, and there's just a jaunt down submersion space to the actual mission site.
And I would assume that based on my epic net diving role and skills that I could somehow cloak my actual physical representation on any sort of recording devices or surveillance devices that are dialed in with all of the various connected, Internet of Things kind of vibe.
On a 21, you also found a way to tell the booth that you have already paid for it for the duration that you're going to be in there.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. So with that taken care of, I think my sprockets-like avatar would be having a conversation with Octavius, if that's amenable, looking at the schematics that were sent to us by Oaken, and just kind of going over them in sort of like a holographic sort of overview, heads-up display kind of thing. I'm very, very curious about this massive safe in the corner office. I mean,
I thought
right?
you might be. We can't open every safe though, Vern. Like, I know you want to, but we can't.
But do you recognize the safe?
I can't say that's my area of expertise.
I mean, do we want to get a better look? I mean, just kind of like, just to see if we know the safe. I mean, we could know the safe.
How many safes do you know, Vern?
I mean, I get around.
That was 3 or 4.
So, like, 2. Nevertheless, things that are valuable and 2 of a kind, in this case, might be housed in said safe, and if we know more about the safe, then, well, maybe if we need to get in the said safe, we have an option to do so.
I can't argue with that logic.
Let's just take a peek. I can't imagine it would hurt. Is that possible, Paul, that I could hack?
Yeah, do some
And
submersion.
because in the submersion space, there is a camera, I do believe, that is in that room.
Mhm.
And I would be very interested to hijack that camera and use it to look at the safe and try to get maybe a model of the safe, any sort of like details on the build, the manufacturer, that sort of thing.
Go ahead and make a hacking check. Now you are fairly far away. I mean, you're close as far as like a block away goes. But this kind of remoting, usually if you're not jumping through it through submersion space, running the grid, it is a little bit more difficult. But go ahead and make a hacking check for me.
Okay. Oh, that's amazing. Okay, that's gonna be 24.
24. Yeah, I would say that probably does it. Give me 1 second.
I see a safe and I just can't resist. I'm sorry. I just have to know more.
Listen, we support you, Vern. You don't get out that much, and so we support letting you have fun when you do.
You really get me, Octavius. You really
you-
get me, and I appreciate you for that.
Is Vern like broadcasting this to the group?
Oh yeah, you guys can
Oh,
hear what
yeah.
we're doing. Yeah. He's not trying to hide
Gideon's
anything.
like, Vern, we talked about this. Come on, man. Nope, he said too late.
Burn, go
Uh-huh.
ahead and add 1 trace value
Okay.
to your trace. And and here's what you see. So I put your it's going to be in the right corner of the facility for our cameraman. And then yeah, so you're looking through the camera at the safe. Sorry, you're not looking through the bat. I forgot to delete the bat.
Don't delete that bat. Okay. So I'm looking through the camera at the safe.
Yes, so I mean you can see the whole room.
Yep.
But you can see the safe.
Let's zoom in on that safe if we can with the camera controls. Get up nice and tight and just sort of scan it for serial numbers. You know, make, model, you know, enhance.
Yeah.
So just so I'm absolutely clear, the whole team currently has an overlay of Vern like dribbling over a safe running in our field of vision.
Yeah, and it just
Absolutely.
keeps on zooming in closer and closer to the point that like you can't even tell it's a safe. It's like just looking over just metal slabs. And Vern, why don't you go ahead and make a awareness check?
Okay.
And
then I'll, as I'm doing this, I'll be like, if you're connected, are you seeing this? This looks interesting. All right, so this is you said awareness?
Yes, go ahead and make an awareness check.
All right, thanks.
Just as you're like looking for like any kind of branding and VIN numbers and stuff like that.
14.
14. First and foremost, this wyvern is a super vault by Neocortex. This thing is hella hard to crack. This is some top-notch security. Not only does it require biometrics, but it also requires 2 unique passcodes entered in to access the safe. Now, all of it is connected to OmniN. However, until the safe is opened, anything inside, if it is digital or connects to OmniN, is air-gapped. So you would have no connectivity to anything inside of it until it is breached.
Okay.
You also do have a partial pin. However, by the angle of the camera, you cannot get the full pin readout.
Okay.
So it's marginally useful as far as looking up the exact make and model of this safe, but you do know that this is going to be a pretty hard nut to crack.
Okay. With that information in mind, I'm just gonna zoom out really fast, just to mess with my companions a little bit, and look over
Again,
at
Gideon's like,
Vern, I promise if
Sorry
you
about
keep
that.
zooming in and out like this, I am personally going to connect you to an air-gapped bidet in a syphilis ward.
What? You're
And
breaking
make
up. You're
sure
breaking
that is
up, and
the
then
only- I will
in, out,
beat you
in,
up.
out, in, out. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. There we go, Josh. Yes. What I would like to do before disconnecting from this hijack is, can I get any information off of the desk, computer, console, or what's on the desk? Any other information that I might be able to pull out of this room?
Most of it, from what you can tell, and you can make a civics check just as you kind of glance through sort of the corporate documents and stuff. The vast majority of it, though, I will say, looks to be various kinds of analog blueprint designs.
Oh.
Meaning pencil drawn or hand crafted architectural designs.
Which, if I'm not mistaken, this is kind of what we're looking for.
That's correct, and that's sort of Helmont Architecture's forte, especially in a lot of their designs, because they don't want net divers poking around too much. However, you're assuming, well, what did you get for your civics check?
17.
17. Yeah. So in general, anything just left sitting on counters, we're probably talking government buildings, library, stuff that most people like, that they're not like getting huge payouts. Maybe this is some different charity work that they're doing, or
None of them say
like
Samsara secret facility on them.
Correct,
Is that what you're
correct.
saying? Okay, got you. Nevertheless, that information might come in handy in the future, so I will try to screenshot or whatever I can do to sort of gather that intel and store it away in
100%.
my files.
I will say, with a 17 on your civics, you do notice on the computer console there is a message pop up, like an unread message, and the message origin appears to be Samsara Medical.
Oh my god, you guys, are you seeing this? I'm gonna zoom in really fast to the screen there. Sorry. I'm so excited.
He goes in too close. He actually goes into where it like pixelates and you can't make out anything, and then he backs out like slowly.
Vern, I promise I am going to find you, and when I find you, I will make my displeasure very, very well known.
Noted.
I'm getting vertigo walking down the street, you daft bastard.
Oh, I thought you were sitting at girls.
I need to get there first, you...
Gideon and Oaken are walking the streets as well, and some woman across the road has like basically cries out like, "Go home, you're drunk," because Gideon's like,
Is there any way I can access to see what the message is?
It would be fairly risky without being in submersion.
Okay.
You could attempt, but just like the camera, you would need a fairly high check, with the risk, especially at this range, of building up extra trace on a failure.
Extra trace, would that also be risk of like being detected internally by the security systems? Like building trace can do that, right? But
correct. And I will note that any trace you build up now is static for the actual execution as well. It doesn't go away.
Oh, got you.
Yeah,
Okay, well,
so-
I don't want to jeopardize the mission. If you guys want me to try, I can, but do you think this is important enough for us to risk it?
Vern, shut it down. The easiest way to open a safe is always with a gun barrel at the back of someone's head. If we need to open the safe, we'll do it that way.
Fair, but
Yeah,
what about
he's right,
the
Vernon.
message?
Like, if we can just get into that building, we can find a way to get that message.
Okay. All right.
If,
Yep. Fair
look,
enough. I'm gonna.
Yeah, if we find out that we can't get in, then sure, maybe
I can just
but-
reconnect later. It's fine. We can poke about another time. Noted.
Yeah,
and I'll
yeah,
disconnect.
Wyvern, as you're disconnecting, can I have you just make one last awareness check?
Awareness. Yeah.
I'm sure it's fine though. I'm sure.
Yeah,
So
no,
good.
I'm sure it's
So good.
totally
Yeah, I'm
fine.
sure it's
Worry
totally
about it.
fine.
No,
Nothing
no
worse.
one everywhere is about a GM asking for an awareness check randomly.
No, don't think about it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
That's
13.
not bad.
Vern, as you're pulling out, it's like you're in the process of disconnecting. The screen on the computer flickers real quick, almost like a glitch, and then you're out.
All right.
I saw that.
Yeah. That was weird.
Yeah,
You know,
what,
sometimes
what's
I've-
up with
I've-
that, Vern?
Ugh,
Sometimes
it's-
I've
ugh.
seen that sort of thing when there's a bit of a I don't know, a bit of a decoy on a screen, if you will, to kind of make it seem as if it's something when it's really not.
Okay.
You know,
do
kind of
have-
like when you seem to look, you know, like a someone that you're not. That kind of thing. Like you're kind of putting on a little bit of a show. I don't know. Could be anything. Could be a lot of things. Could be nothing. Could be
But
everything.
thank you for your specificity, Vern. That's enormously helpful.
Well, it's all probability. I mean, there's a probability that that was really important, and there's a probability that it was nothing.
You know, there's
Just
an absolute
where does it
probability
lie?
of. We've got some real work to do while you enjoy sitting in your bathtub or whatever it is you do.
Look, I'm completely dry right now.
Add that to the
Okay,
list of
you
things
guys-
I did not need to know.
Yeah, I was gonna say you guys can do this in our off hours. Let's figure out a firm plan and then we'll go forward.
Yeah,
Noted.
come on, Vern. Let's go to the strip club.
Girls, girls, girls. Okay.
To be clear, we're going there to see whether or not it's an appropriate place to establish a base of operations.
Of course, of course. That's the only reason we're going there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
When was the last time you were at a strip club at all, Wyvern? In person.
I mean,
oh, in person, yeah. I was gonna
in
say, I'm
person,
willing to
I
bet
mean-
he's probably in all of them.
It's not like I never go
No, there's anything
anywhere.
wrong with that? Come on now.
well, in
the oldest
Fortnite,
profession in the book.
actually.
Yeah, I mean, I dance a little.
Hacking their security cameras is not being well informed, it's just slightly creepy.
Hey, look. Sometimes you got to make money. It's the oldest profession in the book. It's
You're not wrong.
respectable.
You're not
They,
wrong.
they work hard.
I agree. They do.
Corvo, as you round the corner, you hear the deep thump of music from behind
Yes.
concrete walls, and you see down the road a building. It's kind of surprising. This kind of little street, almost tucked in the skyscraper district, just takes on a whole nother vibe, and it just feels, I don't know, scummy. And you see there is this kind of concrete building with two extremely scantily clad virtual women in the overlay dancing out front of it, kind of calling out to different passerbys on their way to work or whatever. And then a very large neon pink lettering above them that says "Girls, Girls, Girls."
Oh, it's nice to see that they've kept it discreet. As I'm walking up to the building, I'm gonna, like, what I want to be doing is sort of paying close attention to like the layout of the street, like looking to see whether or not there's alleyway access on the sides of the building, looking at roughly how many floors there are to the building for girls, girls, girls. You know, sort of in a kind of,
Yeah.
what the accessibility looks like, what routes look like, what entry and exit routes look like, that kind of vibe.
Yeah. Go ahead and make an awareness check for me first. as you scope it out. And it's not a hard roll. It's a just a general.
It's a 10.
Okay. In general, girls looks like at least the building. Who knows if girls has always been girls. But the building has been there a long time, and it looks like most of the other buildings have almost been built around it. So who's ever owned this property has done a good job of not letting it go to be turned into some other nicer sort of establishment. And so the buildings on either side belong to what you would assume are like mid-tier corporations. They look like fully respectable businesses. They also look like they're doing their darndest to kind of cover up or kind of create as much distraction away from girls and all the noise and loudness it makes. But nonetheless, that's a pretty tall order. So girls is a single floor tucked tightly into an alley, and even there's like a like the buildings have been connected even above girls with like maybe a comfortable 10-foot barrier between air gap barrier between. So girls is just like tucked into basically a whole bunch of other building walls. So there's no alleys around behind girls. As far as you can tell, there is one way in and out of girls.
Well, I guess I'm gonna head up to the door and
out front of the door is a almost as large, though far more portly, very just kind of disgruntled looking character, bouncer type, sitting out front. And he kind of rises when he sees you come in, and then he just kind of sits back down and just nods, thinking that you look about the part of somebody who might utilize girls, and kind of thumbs and shows you the way in.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. 6'3", dressed top to toe in black.
And as you head in, the big old guy, he kind of motions with like guns. And he motions to be like, keep them holstered.
And I pull my jacket open. There's nothing on my hip, nothing in my belt at all. And just head on in.
You head into girls. Now it's it's 8 p.m. Some amount of people are starting. It's starting to get a little bit more packed, but it's certainly still not kind of prime evening hours for girls. This place isn't the greatest in the world. It's certainly not the fanciest strip club you've ever been into. They seem to, however, specialize in exotic mutations, though, so take that as it is. And you pretty much identify the owner. The owner is kind of dressed in a no shirt, just wearing an overcoat, kind of leathery overcoat, sitting behind a desk, and kind of barking things at people going by. Can I have you make a streetwise check?
Uh, 10.
10. Okay. Generally speaking, he has a tattoo on his face that you're pretty sure is some sort of association with the dynasty. The other thing you kind of notice is, boy, a lot of this carpeting and floor has what looks like a heck of a lot of blood stains on them that seemingly tried to be removed at some point. But yeah, you notice this because this is sort of your line of work. Those aren't like alcohol or beverage stains or things like that. These are something went down here once upon a time.
Yeah.
Also, not all that unsurprisingly for a joint like this.
Oh, probably not. I guess I'd be sort of paying attention as to whether or not it looked like it was splatter gout or pooling.
It looks like both.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It looks like something really, really pretty severe went down in this place at some point, and that the new owners didn't try all that hard to replace the carpets or anything. In fact,
Yeah.
you're pretty enamored that this place is still afloat.
Enamored or impressed?
Probably a little bit of both.
A little of both. Porque no los dos. Yeah, so Corvo would walk up, lean on the desk. Good evening, sir. I was wondering whether you and I might be able to have a slightly more audible chat.
He looks at you. And who are you?
I am a man who was pointed in your direction as somebody who was amenable to making, well, some extra money for just maintaining the standards of discretion for which you're known.
Yeah, we're known for discretion. What kind of girls you looking for?
Ah, exciting. In fact, none, which is rather an excellent value proposition for a man like yourself.
Alright, I'm listening. Why don't we walk into my offices? And he leads you into the back room. Various girls are getting ready, and then kind of, again, also back here, same sort of, at one point, quite a bit of gore. This has been a storied place. And he takes you to a room, and as you enter the room, in general, you notice, like, so far what you've seen is it seems like possibly management has switched in this place more recently. Maybe a switch of gangs or different syndicates who own this place, but this guy seems to be new, slightly amenable, able to be talked to a little bit more, not as cement like many of them tend to be. So he sits you down in his office. It's pretty sparse, not a ton of books or anything, and like, so what kind of proposition you got?
Well, from the decorative choices of your office here, I'd say you're a man who likes to get down to business. So I'll be clear. Me and some associates of mine have need of a staging ground, as it were, for a job, the kind of job that doesn't need any more oversight than I'm currently giving it. And it was suggested to me that you might be somebody who could arrange such a thing. On the basis of the carpets on the way here, I'd say you weren't too much of a stranger to that kind of thing.
I was just about to say, you gotta be kidding me. This place is turning into a very popular staging ground.
Well,
yeah, we had a team staged here before my time, before my patrons took over. I'm open to the idea, definitely for the right amount of money. Just, I want to make something real clear up front.
on all ears, entirely.
Whatever you're doing, if it kicks back to this place, if it kicks back to the dynasty, that's not what you want. Okay?
That I can all but guarantee. Obviously, there's no such thing as a certainty in our line of work, but if the job goes off the way it's supposed to, they won't be looking here, and if the job doesn't go off the way it's supposed to, they still won't be looking here. The dynasty will not be involved or even mentioned. In fact, you and I need never mention them again.
Well, excellent. I don't see any reason why this can't work. On one condition. When you're done executing whatever you're up to, I don't really care. I'd like 1,000 crypts.
I mean, that seems fairly reasonable. I guess my question for that is, for 1,000 crypts, did this conversation ever happen?
Not at all. And
Fabulous.
throw in a couple girls if you want them to.
I appreciate the offer, but in the gentlest possible terms, they would be barking up entirely the wrong tree.
Say no more. Well, you guys can operate out of this lovely back room. He points to the room with only a couch in it, and plenty of blood marks. Make yourselves at home. Please be discreet, and yeah.
I do have one question about this room, and Corvo would step into the room and look around it. In terms of the layout of this building, is that the only entrance to this room?
Yeah, the only well, I mean, he kind of eyes you up. Go ahead and make an intuition check.
Intuition is right there. 11.
11. He's like, yeah, only one way in the building, one way out. That's how it's always been set up. However, you're not 100% sure this guy's telling the truth.
And just because I'm curious, I mean, obviously it's a lot more peaceful in here with the sound dampening, but how quiet is this room outside it?
Oh yeah, no one's gonna, well, between the music and the concrete of the next door buildings to make sure that they don't hear nothing, no one's gonna be peeking, listening in.
Grand. I appreciate your forthright discussion in this matter, and I look forward to us never having had this conversation.
Absolutely. Dynasty thanks you for your discretion. One other thing.
As we turn to walk out of the room, I want to take like a really quick kind of mental inventory of what the ceiling looks like in there.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, basically this whole place feels like a bunker, except with a lot more cracks and hodgepodge, like painting over the cracks to try and make it feel nice, and then that wearing down over years. Can I also have you make one last awareness check on your way out?
Double check that. No, that's fine. Cool. So that is a grand total of 10.
10. Okay. Yep. And you make your way out. The carpet, of course, being a little, grody. It feels wrong to walk on it. You're not even sure why they keep it. Yeah. So, and then he asks, how many of you will be staying in my fine establishment?
4.5.
4.5.
And like at that point, like just before he asked that question, I would have gone wide on the net with the comms, so they were in on the conversation. There'll be 4.5 of us, and using the staging ground.
He kind of looks at you. All right, just don't get any blood.
One of our net divers is fond of showing up in the digital space rather than actually getting any skin in the game. So it's only really half a person as far as you're concerned, anyway.
Right. Well, all right. Just send me their names, what they look like, or whatever, so I can tell Jimmy out front that they
names are such flexible things. I'm sure we can just make do with pictures. ID picture. Fabulous.
Right.
And look, one professional to another, if you're open to perhaps a little advice. Polished concrete floors don't take bloodstains the way carpets do.
Yeah. Polished concrete floors don't send the right message. Sylvia, you're up! And he bangs on the door and then walks over to his desk.
So yeah, at that, Corvo would head outside and like ping everybody with the GPS location.
All right, you guys have your fine establishment to stage your heist out of.
Oaken would probably come back to Corvo and go, "Were you talking about me because I'm short, or were you really meaning Vern?"
Orkin, you'd hear risking your neck. Vern, on the other hand, is probably currently enjoying a massage chair, while the rest of us are pounding the pavement. You are.
That's actually true, Wyvern. It is a massage chair, and you also get that for free as part of your little net diving deal.
I am not going to mention the chair out loud to anyone at this point.
I think we walk into Girls, and Gideon's like, "Hey, look, they got massage chairs here as well." All right.
Gideon, mind on the job, would you?
My mind is on the job, always. Just sometimes the job changes based on where you are.
Your mind is telling you no, but your body is telling you yes.
Almost every day.
Right, and like Corvo's bringing his big, heavy plastic suitcase with him.
Just a pelican case.
Pretty much, man. Pretty much. Like that kind of vibe, but a little more reinforced. Shows everybody the way through.
Now, I just want to summarize. So we have explored a little bit of the 23rd floor, at least all of the office windows that you can get to. You've seen a bit of the ground floor, at least outside down the alleyway. You have a package for Kevin McAllister that should be somewhere there, and some breadcrumbs being set up in the digital space. Is there anything else you guys want to do here before that 48-hour mark, and what is sort of your approach? Doing what when on day of execution? Because when we get together next Wednesday, it's going to be straight in to execution of the mission.
So I have one more thing that I would like to do.
Yeah.
But my question is whether or not it is something that is discussed within the group, or whether it's something that like I can just put in my back pocket as a potential card to play.
Sure, and if you want to, I'm okay with it. We could either, I don't know if we have capability to jump in another channel, or you could send me a quick message or DM if you want to keep it really discreet. Otherwise, we could just play as off the books, and you can just.
Actually, you know what? Like, let's play it out. I think it's gonna be gonna be a fun one to like. Maybe we use it, maybe we don't. As everybody gets into the back room, I want to shut the door and do a very quick check of how quiet it is in here, like in terms of like literal decibel levels.
Yeah, I mean, other than the constant thump of the music coming from the stage room, I mean, you don't hear any other noises from surrounding buildings or anything like that. You don't even hear voices over the music thump. And
fabulous. Vern, could you do me a favor and just cast an eye over this room particularly?
I was
and see
thinking
if
the
there's
exact
anything
same
keeping an eye
thing.
on us?
I was thinking the exact same thing, Corvo. I would like to do some sort of a scan. Are there any listening devices? Are there any sort of observation or eavesdropping tools or programs that are being executed in the space?
Go ahead and make a net diving check.
So as he's doing that, Corvo's getting his suitcase down and popping open the locks on it, of which there are a few, but he doesn't open it just yet.
18 on the net dive.
18. Yes, there is a listening device and a discrete camera in the corner of the room, although you don't think it's necessarily there for you guys by any means, but probably there just in general. Also, interestingly enough, there is a door lock on the floor in the middle of the room.
Okay. Well, first things first, I'm going to, if possible, broadcast into both the listening device and I'm not going to disable them, but I'm going to broadcast in a long looping sort of meandering conversation, voices, imagery of us in the room to sort of make it seem like we're doing things that we're not doing, like just chilling and hanging out. And,
Yeah.
Yep.
First question, do you have the program Falsify by chance?
I do not have Falsify.
Or Scrubber?
I have Scrubber.
Okay. What's the trace
Yep.
on that?
Trace on Scrubber is pretty high. It's a 5.
Okay. Go ahead and just make a hacking check.
Okay.
That would be your best bet, to just do like
Yeah.
a looping feed.
Yep. Okay, so that's 17.
17. Yep, you set that up. You create a fictitious loop of you guys in the room. That's fairly believable, at least for several hours.
Mhm. Or boring
At least-
enough where someone would be like,
Yeah.
whatever, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'll point out the door
I
situation on the floor.
thought there might be something like that, but I also had an idea, and like pops open the lid of his suitcase and takes out. Now, mechanically, my pitch here, Paul, is that I am taking what is effectively like a frag grenade,
Okay.
but what it actually is cutting charges and creating a space on the roof, because we got 10 feet of clearance up there. So if we need to go, we can go, like, cutting charges, they go off, we can go up and then over the top of the building if we get cornered.
Create our own escape route is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
exactly. So like there was a suspicion that maybe there was another way out of here because, you know, game recognized game. But 2 escape routes is always better than 1.
And now, character mechanically wise, you have a frag grenade, but you would like to rig it up as like a cutting charge.
As cutting charges, yeah.
Yeah. Based on because of the age of this building, usually I would say if it was like a modern building, you probably couldn't retrofit the grenade to correctly do the job. However, with just what the concrete of this building is made of and everything and how old it is, yeah, you could probably make at least a serviceable entrance through the...
Like, all it really needs to be is, like, a hole big enough for, like, me to be able to get my shoulders...
Right, it doesn't need to be terribly
through.
clean, it's just...
No, God, no.
Yeah. Nope, yeah, you could definitely do that.
And then just, like, a little, you know, localized remote thing so that, like, I don't need a lot of distance to be able to set it off. But, come the time, click. Yeah.
Well, you certainly found us a nice place, Corvo. I mean, this is great, but I counted more than 3 girls downstairs. So I don't know if their marketing is off or what. Is that typical with this sort of establishment?
Well, I mean, you know what? Like, Gideon turns to Vern. He's like, you know what, Vern? I think there's only one way to be sure. And Gideon like takes off his coat and like takes off his guns and puts his name. It's like, now I'm gonna go have a chat. You know, from one working class person to another, and just see if there's anyone from the tower, from the company that, you know, likes to frequent girls, and they're not off. And I mean, look, Octavius can talk the pants off of anyone. I'm gonna try and go in there with that rough, you know, farmhand kind of. And he like muscles up his hair a little bit, gives it that kind of, you know, grabs some of the obvious dust in the carpet and like dust himself up a bit. He's like, yeah, there we go. All right.
I don't know if that was dust.
he's like, what are you talking about? Oh man, no, it wasn't. Okay.
All right, go ahead and make a charisma check as you make yourself all suave.
I'm sure. I don't know if suave is the way that I'm going.
No. Maybe
Farmhand
cowboy
suave.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you know how
cowboy
like
suave,
I don't
yeah.
know. I mean, like we've all been there, but you know, like
Have we?
ladies love a working man. They know he's got money. You know what I mean? Like,
Blue collar.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh, that is a 20.
20. Woo! You go out there on fire. In fact, basically the rest of your team is like, who is this guy?
And it's not the Octavius like smooth James Bond charm either. It's like that working class like, well, hey ladies, all right. Well, look, I'm just been a long day. I'm just tired, you know.
It's
Maybe
Glenn
just-
Powell and Twister.
Absolutely.
It's
Glenn
beautiful.
Powell and Twister, yeah.
Octavius is so proud of Gideon right now. This is everything Octavius has ever wanted for Gideon.
Look, I gotta do Queenie proud. You know, I've been talking to Octavius, trying to and I'm trying to talk to the girls,
Yep.
because they have all the information. You know, like they know who comes in, who goes out. They get all the secrets from like corporate stooges that come in here.
100%.
So I don't know if it's anything specific. I'm just trying to see if there was anything like maybe we could blackmail our way into a facility, or maybe one of the girls, you know, like Ocean's 11, one of the girls could swipe a key card. I don't know.
Yeah, you're kind of moseying around with the girls and stuff. You've
Absolutely
got the whole,
moseying.
I've just finished lassoing a horse out at my ranch, sort of.
Oh yeah, it's hard work, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, when those
so,
bucks come in, you gotta break them in. You gotta be hard. You gotta show them.
And needless to say, most of the girls are quite charmed. And through a couple different conversations, you deduce that actually, the manager of Gross Heisen Tower every once in a while frequents this place. And wouldn't you know it, he might be here tonight.
Nice.
She says usually he comes in right around midnight. That's usually after his wife is in bed, and then yeah.
And Gideon's
she says that this guy loves a good story and loves his liquor almost as much as he loves his women, and yeah, so she gives you a little wink and says that don't know if that's helpful, but
oh, sure it is. I mean, you know, when you get stuck in a big meandering story and you had a few to drink, like it's a damn shame sometimes you lose things, you forget where you put your wallet, or maybe you pull out a card thinking it's your crypt card, but it's actually a business card. I'm just, you know, these things happen. Who knows?
She's like 100%, and just and she points and motions over to the guy running this place. She's like, we're not allowed to take anything, so if you need anything, probably have to do it yourself. But, my shift gets done at 6 o'clock, and she gives you another wink. And she's like,
okay.
I better get back on the stage.
Yeah, Gideon's like, well, all right. Like gets around the corner out of sight of everyone, and is just like, okay, there we go. All right. Yeah, basically just goes back to the gang and then lets them know. So yeah, if we want to try and get a hold of the card, we might be able to. I might be able to talk some of the girls into causing a distraction. Maybe one of us can.
And I will remind you all, the manager is one of the only people who has a badge to the 21st floor.
Now you said the girls themselves are not able to nick anything from the clientele. Is that true?
Yeah, that's what you said. Like, I mean, you saw the Dynasty guy out there. I don't think the gang is going to be too pleased with their girls causing any unnecessary heat. I mean, they can probably take something if the boss asks them to, but they could always, you know, they can prove a mighty fine distraction, and then one of us can maybe grab it.
I mean, we've got some capabilities on our team to perhaps enamor the manager to imbibe and reveal and display and
I mean, you're not wrong. Have you seen Octavius work? That's impressive.
Octavius,
well,
saying that, do you have a good disguise as a voluptuous female?
You know, I don't have that right this moment, but do we know that he only likes girls? I mean, this is girls, 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 but some people like both, and others.
Yeah.
true.
Look, yeah, it's it's 21.98. Who are we to judge?
So Octavius,
But I would, yeah, I'd be happy to cause a distraction.
I thought you'd say that. Oh, this is getting juicy. This is getting really good. You guys are having so much fun. This is great.
This is so. Man, imagine if you were here in person, Vern. You could sample the delicacies of the flesh yourself.
It's
Well, that's
genuinely
not really
one
my
of the most
thing.
terrifying things I've heard you say.
Yeah, it's not really my thing, Gideon. You know that. But it's fun to watch you have a good time. I mean, not watch you have a good time. Okay, that came out really weird, but
Look,
you
come
know,
on,
like
Vern, that was one time. We're really drunk. Okay, we thought it'd be fun.
I was sober, but regardless,
We talked about
my
this, Vern. What happens
avatar's
at the ranch
blushing.
stays at the ranch.
It's just between
God
you
damn
and
it,
me and
Vern.
Queenie, and that's
Yeah,
oh boy,
exactly, man.
That sounds even worse.
That was more than I needed to know, but now I know that.
I'm putting you all on mute until we can figure this out.
I think
So,
it's a great idea
Octavius-
to try to do this.
you gonna wait around, lounge around until this manager comes in?
I think so. I wanted to ask Paul, what
Yeah.
what are the vibes of girls, girls, girls? Like, is it a mixture of clientele, or is it primarily clientele of a certain disposition, we'll say?
It's actually a mixture. You have both. You have a little bit of like gangers, kind of real rough, urban type, as well as those coming from the skyscraper district. And it's actually at this point, as it's kind of coming on midnight, you realize, oh, actually, this girls is probably doing pretty well. It's kind of this unique position where it can bring in both crowds. And so yeah, it's kind of a mix of all, and it gets fairly lively around this time. So if you go out there, I mean, it's a pretty decent crowd of people in the girls. To the extent that you're pretty sure that you could just roll around social like and just disappear in that crowd, no problem.
Absolutely what he wants to do.
Perfect. So as you head out, I'll have you make a guile check, and as you guys know, because Octavius is the guise, he can use, as long as there's more than 2 people, he can use guile as his stealth capabilities. He just blends into the crowd.
Trying to do quick math in my head. That is a 21.
Very good. So Octavius, you slip into the crowd. I mean, this is your sweet spot. You just, nobody, like, you're talking with people and like making comments and stuff, but you know you are just like 100% invisible right now to everybody. You're just that guy. Nobody's really paying attention to you. You kind of know the manager when he comes in. Gideon kind of gets a cue from one of the stage girl he was talking to. She kind of points him out, and after a couple different drinks, he's fairly inebriated, and just kind of reclined watching the girls. Tends to be he seems rather loud. He's kind of talking, making calls and that sort of stuff. but fairly distracted. What would you like to do?
I mean, this is a long shot, but is there any miracle that I can see the badge on him or have seen it flashed when he was paying for different things?
Go ahead and make an awareness check for me.
I would love to.
And then I'll also have you do a civics check as well.
That is an 18.
Oh, never
for
mind. Don't
the
even bother with the
awareness.
civics check. Yes, you notice in his underneath his lapel that he came in, there's an inside pocket, and it looks like there is something flat and hard inside of there. It also looks like it's attached to a little fob, like a extendable fob that seemed to be pinned into the inside of the jacket. Can I have you make in your assessment with an 18? Within your assessment, you're pretty sure with the right sleight of hand, you could probably slip that. You might even be able to do it without even talking to the guy at the right moment. Maybe a couple more beers in this guy, and he'll be ready.
I think in that case, then Octavius just waits and looks for his opening, because the less direct interaction he has with this man, the better.
Paul,
Perfect.
question. Knowing that this plan was hatched, right, and understanding what Octavius was going to attempt to do, is it possible that we could have sort of planned ahead in terms of being able to, for Wyvern to drop the program Amplify on Octavius to give them a little bit of extra dexterity in their pickpocketing? Is that something that we could have laid out ahead of time?
It's definitely possible if you're okay with the trace, remembering that trace. I mean, you do have the program de-escalate, right?
No, actually I don't.
No, okay. So then you don't have a good way of dumping trace, so just are you okay with the commitment of that trace value as you go into the mission?
I do have de-escalate.
Oh, de-escalate, that's what I meant.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I have de-escalate. Yep.
Okay, so with the program de-escalate, you can de-escalate your trace value by running that program.
Okay.
So yes, I think you could probably amplify.
Okay.
Octavius, you have a +1 to your dexterity attribute, so you're rolling 1 extra dice. Now that's only for what, 3 turns?
3 turns, yeah.
3 turns. So
However, I also have sticky, so I could do.
That's pretty expensive on the trace value.
Yeah, it's a pretty big deal, isn't it? Is this big enough deal?
If you drop it at the right time, so perhaps Octavius gives you the signal.
Oh yeah, I'll get a signal. What's the signal?
Yeah, I was going to
Octavius,
ask
what's
if
the
there was a
signal?
way that we could help the situation.
I mean, we could talk to each other, but it would be cool if there's a signal.
Oh yeah.
Octavius, what do you want the signal to be for the amplify to drop on you?
I think the signal in this case is Octavius walks over to whoever is DJing. And what is Wyvern's favorite song?
Oh gosh, Wyvern's favorite song.
I believe in a
Oh,
thing called
shit.
Love by the Darkness.
What is it?
What's
I
Plasmic
believe
Abyss?
in a thing called Love
Yeah,
by the
it's
Darkness.
anything by Plasmic Abyss.
Oh, Plasmic Abyss.
Yeah, anything by Plasmic Abyss.
Perfect.
That is the signal. Once that song starts playing, it's go time.
All right, perfect.
So Octavius, I'll go ahead and have you make an insight check, kind of as you're assessing how inebriated this manager is.
Right. Insight. What
No,
is
that's under
insight?
wisdom.
Wisdom. I love that. I love that for me. That is.
Or maybe it's intuition. Sorry, it might be intuition.
Intuition, yes.
Sorry, yes, I get this.
12, 17, 20, 26.
26.
27 in total.
We'll consider that a critical success. Go ahead and add an edge dice to your edge dice pool because you are an agent. That's your passive ability. Or no, you're
Yeah.
oh wait, no, you're an agent. That's for a coup de grace. Never mind. I was thinking Disco Bard. I apologize. Go ahead and yeah, you know the exact moment. You're like, now's the moment. As it approaches, he takes one more swig, and you're like, this guy, yeah, this is prime. And Plasmic Abyss is spooled up, and it's a banger.
Of course it is. It's Wyvern's favorite song.
Yeah, Plasmic Abyss by the well-known, super famous band Neon Cypher.
All right.
And,
Wish me luck.
You get, yep, the Amplify is on you, so now you need to make a sleight of hand check.
Okay. All right. That is a 6, an 11, a 14, a 17.
17. I'll have you know, I rolled double ones.
Oh,
So,
Snake
he is, in fact, you're kind of, you're so smooth with it. You actually now have it pinned to the inside of your coat, the little extender, and like, it was just like the seamless, like whatever. It's like it's always been there.
Yeah.
And you just gracefully guile your way back out, give a few head nods, but remain virtually invisible as you make your way into the back room.
Hey, Paul. Just a quick question, because those were some absolute banger rolls. So, could I have also scanned his face?
Oh yes, 100%. You scanned his face, and will say that in the pickpocketing process, you also picked up a crypt card. That was basically what he was using for this money. So you just gained 350 crypt.
It's got the company credit card.
Yeah.
Fuck yes, incredible.
No, those were great rolls. Okay, being mindful of time, I know that we are closing in on time, guys. Let's talk through, what does game day execution look like? You got the badge now. You've seen some of the things. Who's doing what? How do you guys want to run this?
My suggestion would be that we use the card as soon as possible, because then we are not racing the clock at the end of it. I would guess that 2 people go up, or maybe 1 person goes up to the 21st floor, get some insight looks to see where the elevator shafts are and things of that nature, so we can get that done. And then I think whatever next we want to do.
Oaken, I appreciate your input, but I can't agree. Like, splitting up when we're doing something like this just seems like a fast way for a lot of people to die. If we need to get in, like, obviously Octavius is going to have to go in first as Kevin McAllister to pick that up. Fine. But then we have to follow in as quickly as possible afterwards. My suggestion, my feeling, is that Octavius goes in the front door, hits the front desk, and then we wait, you, me, and Gideon, we wait at the side door that you saw down the alleyway, and then we can meet up with Octavian. Everything that we do after this point, we need to be as fast as possible. This is a snatch and grab. Like, that's what this is. After Kevin McAllister's past that desk, we need to move fast and light and hope that we can get in and out of there quietly. But if we don't, we definitely don't want to be. If it goes loud, we need everybody together so that we can focus fire and concentrate and put as much lead in the air as we can.
We don't know where the item is that we're here to take yet.
No, we don't.
So,
and that's why we need to move fast.
The Kevin McAllister plan was before we had a scanned face of this manager and their key card. We can virtually, with Octavius's skill, go anywhere we want to go.
The point of the Kevin McAllister plan was not to get access to the building. That was to leave trace behind.
Correct. So we have a physical evidence on site for the decoy. Yes. We're going to implement some digital cyber footprints as well.
Yep.
But we still need to figure out where said item is, the schematics, the blueprints.
Yeah, and the 21st floor, that's where all the security is, right? So, I mean, Warsaw is going to be up there, so that's going to be an issue we have to deal with. But also, there's a good chance that the security team will know where the secure items are being held, so they're going to know which safe it's in. They may not know the details of how to get into it, but they'll know where to go if it's in jeopardy. So they'll have at least the location of which room, at least, hopefully.
And since there's no people in the building until 8 a.m., Octavius could use all the right ways to get in, just to scope it out to make sure that we know where we're going, or we can all go in before there are people in the building and scope it out, try and figure it out. But I would much rather do this part without people in the building, and then leave Kevin McAllister to leave that behind when we're ready.
Agreed. The
I think
sooner
that
we
makes sense.
infiltrate, the better.
Yeah.
And Octavius can access the computer systems, presumably, and I can help if there are certain firewalls that need to be breached. So we can piggyback in, access the system, see if we can find any references to the blueprints for Samsara's facility, what location they're being held in, and then we go there. On the way out, we take care of Warsaw. We if we need to, we go loud. If not, we don't have to. Although Corvo, I know that would be fun. But yeah, sleek and lean
And
on
also,
the way in.
if the package is Neocortex uniforms, then we could just chuck them on, follow Octavius in, create whatever mess we need to create, and then get out of there, making sure that they see the very blazing Neocortex
On the way out.
Yeah.
Throw those on the way out.
Well,
Or
even
just
on the
leave
way
them
in.
behind. Just leave
Even
them
on the
behind.
way in, like, it makes sense for Neocortex to be sending in like a team of technicians or something.
Sure.
To look things over. And one of them just happens to be 6'3" and built like a fridge. someone's got to pick those servers up, lug them around.
Fair.
Look, ultimately, I'm here as the fallback option. I'm the one who's going to be sitting in front of you while you're being shot at. I want it made absolutely clear that I am concerned about the time between Octavius letting us know that he's being rumbled and us getting to him if we're 21 to 23 floors away from him. That is my concern, but I'll follow along until it's time for me to step in front.
Well, with the plan Gideon just proposed, we all go together. We walk in under the invitation of the facility manager, aka Octavius. Free pass, baby. Free pass.
Yeah, I just bring you all upstairs so you guys can do your work.
Grant, if that's what we're doing, then let's get it done.
Agreed.
Better
Okay.
to do it than live in the fear of doing it.
Just to surmise, so the plan is to go tonight while you have the badge before of course the manager notices. It's to go in the front door. Octavius as the manager, because he's got the facial patterning, he's got the key card, and then also get the box for Kevin McAllister. If it's got some uniforms for Neocortex, that could be a disguise for some of you. But then essentially then for Octavius, possibly some of you, to then move up into the 23rd floor and scope out where those plans are for possibly Wyvern to hack. Is that right?
Yep.
And
I believe
then
so.
if things get dicey or you guys get blown, that's where Corvo and Gideon really start to show, and even Oaken to some extent, start to show off some of their stuff.
Yep. And then we leave behind the breadcrumbs to the fall guys, basically.
Perfect. Okay, that sounds like
I
a
do
plan.
have
Yeah,
I
go
do
ahead.
have one more question before we shift to.
Yeah.
My question would be just in terms of like where next session is going to start. Is that going to be us walking in the door, or is it going to be potentially a few minutes beforehand?
Because
I only ask because otherwise I have one qualifying thing or one last thing to do today, or I've got one thing that I want to do right at the beginning next time.
I think it's okay. Like, we don't have to start like immediately, but the point of next session is largely the plan is sort of in place. So if it's a big thing that's going to shift the plan or a big pivot point, I would bring it up now, so that people have time to think and gestate on it.
Let's do it now so that it's done, so that we don't have to do it next time. I want to go find like a relatively large, like I imagine, sort of cardboard box for like quite a large sort of monitor kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Yep, I want to get that, and then I want to put my tack shield, and that has my shotgun like attached to the inside of it, inside that box, so that I can carry that with me. Because if I strap that on, then we may as well go loud from the jump.
I like it. No, yeah, you're able to scavenge the alleyways of the city and find a good box for some technical equipment that will fit your tack shield and stuff. I will, however, have you or anybody who wants to make a concealment check to best conceal that tack shield and shotgun inside of the box so that it looks like what it's advertising.
Okay, yeah, you know what? That's fine. I can live with that.
Can I help? Because I want to stash my pistols in there.
Yep, and I would like to stash my axe.
Everybody's back. Okay, yes. Although I will say, Gideon, one of your pistols is ghosted.
This is true.
Which means, in fact, it can even be physically. Like, I had somebody who had a ghosted machine gun that actually folded up into a briefcase, all stealthy like. So you can certainly have a gun, because it's ghosted, take on an inconspicuous form. But the other gun you might want to stash. Yeah. Go ahead and make concealment checks all around.
I got a 12.
I got 14.
I got a 16.
Perfect. Yeah, you guys get all of that equipment. Certainly this box weighs way more than what it's advertised to weigh. But there's no like awkward bulges that would suggest something else. So this is your little technical box to bring in a new monitor for the building.
Just
and
classic IT. Just be like, yeah, we're just here to install a monitor just up on the floor.
I get so like in my head what I have is sort of a mental image of like my tack shield. It's got a whole lot of straps on the inside, so that like even if it was to be X-rayed, it would look like a large flat metallic
metal
or, like,
thing,
technical surface, and then on the back there would be kind of supports in like struts, so it looks almost like it's got a mount ready to put it up on a wall or something. Like that's the kind of vibe for it.
Yeah. Okay, I like it. And if that fails, you always got Wyvern, who can mess with any kind of security scanning device on your on speed dial. So
Look, ultimately, if that fails, I'm carrying a box of guns.
yes, you are. Yeah. Very Matrix style through a metal detector. Yeah. Perfect. Well, that sounds like a plan. That will be go time. Will be starting all of your models out front of that building, and it will be execution. So next time we gather, we will execute this mission and see how it goes. Can you achieve all of the objectives? Can you take out Warsaw? Join us next time, all of our viewership, to find out.
Hell yeah. Awesome
Yeah.
first session, y'all.
Yeah,
So
very
good.
well played. Good job with the girls and getting the manager's key and stuff. That's some good moves. And finding girls, Corvo. Very good.
Can we call
He's
it
our
Girls
man.
Cubed from now on? Because
Girls cubed.
yeah,
Girls, yeah.
It's like too much to say girls 3 times.
It's a mouthful, they say.
Uh-huh.
Hey-o.
Oh gosh. So good, guys.
Awesome.
Well,
Well,
really,
yeah.
really enjoyed it. Thank you.
So good. Thank you, Paul, for bringing this game to the channel. Yeah, thank you all for being here. Everybody has been hanging out in the chat with us and chilling out. I think we go around the table here. Let's have people shout out their stuff themselves and any projects. Paul, why don't we start with you? Tell us where people can find you, how they can connect with House of Eidolons and Token Box.
Yeah, for sure. You can find me Penburrow on Instagram. You can also go to House of Eidolons main Instagram as well and find me through that as well. We got a Discord, we got all kinds of stuff, and we hang out with Guild Superior folks all the time. So you can also find us over on their channel as well. And we love to talk. We love to talk about our game, and hope everybody gets a chance to check it out. We will have hopefully a finished printed book with character art and everything by mid-ish this year is our kind of goal, and much better, and it should look great. So keep an eye.
Yeah, and I just posted a link to eidolonsrpg.com, so go check that out. And I was thinking, Paul, let's set up we'll maybe do this later this week, but let's set up an open community channel under that House of Eidolons section in the Discord so people can talk about the game and learn more about the system and stuff. I think that'd be great for us and for others to do that as well.
We would love that,
awesome.
yeah.
Again, thank you, Paul, for bringing this. I'm super stoked that we're into this, and next week is going to be off the hook. I can't wait to see how things go absolutely sideways, or maybe they just go as according to plan. I don't know. I've never played this game before. Let's jump over next to Your Nomi.
What's up, everybody? You can get hold of me on pretty much any social except X because I do not like that one. As Your Nomi 2, you can find me on Discord, Blue Sky, all of the socials really. And the email is yournomi@gmail.com if you want to ask questions.
Awesome. Thank you, Tara. Great to have you back on the channel with us. Let's jump over next to Alan.
Yes, hi, I'm Alan Henry, a thoroughly strange person. You can find me at AlanHenry_official on Insta and Threads, although that's turning into a bit of a dumpster fire. So you can find me at AlanHenry_official on Blue Sky, and you'll see me around promoting King Kong and Scar King and Cocaine Bear, and soon I'll be dropping some stuff about my involvement in the Minecraft movie. But also you can find me at conventions and traipsing around the States trying to visit Dave and my friends and in various towns. But yeah, that's me.
Great to have you, Alan. As always, when you get into the mind of these characters, you bring it as is your your strategy in all of your endeavors. So thank you for that. Let's jump next over to JD.
Hey, I am JD. I can be found on the internet pretty much everywhere at JD Not Jason Dean. And I'm often found wandering live from the apocalypse, where I'm one of the organizers and admins, and also Entropy Emporium. And on both of those channels, I play in and run several games. So you can find me in various places, but I'm delighted to be back here at Guild Superior because it has been way too long.
And we are delighted to have you back here. Thank you so much for jumping into this game. Last but not least, let's jump over to Josh.
Hey guys, I'm Josh. I am a giant nerd. It's been an absolute joy jumping into this game tonight with Guild Superior, with all of you. Thank you for being our wonderful audience and chat. This is me. This is what I do. This is a lot of fun, and let's keep doing it. I'm looking forward to next week. Let's just get to it.
Hell yes. It can't come soon enough. Okay, my friends, we are going to raid into some of our friends here over at New Age Geek, some new friends. So stick around. We're gonna go to the closeout screen. We're gonna hang out for a little bit. I'll get the raid set up, and then we'll go. We'll be back. We'll be back on Tuesday next week for more Shadows of Greyhawk. We just got started with the new campaign there, so a big week of kicking off the new year with some great stuff. and then we'll be back here on Wednesday for more House of Eidolons. Thanks everybody for being here. We really appreciate your support. If you like what we're doing, please consider following the channel if you're not already following. And if you are, consider a sub. The support that you provide to us allows us to support all the other great creators that are doing things that help us make these games more immersive and fun. So thank you very much for being part of that. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, everybody.